I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice. Poor man working for the rich man. Rich man don't care about the poor, but look along the rich man own the poor man land. The poor say him can't take it no more, but look along the poor man working for the rich man. Rich man don't care about the poor, but look along the rich man own the poor man land. The poor say him can't take it no more. One day he started chanting, give me some land. Want get some land. Wanna build my own house, be my own man then. Give me some land. Want get some land. I wanna raise some little baby with a pretty black woman. Dirty Babylon, them want to stop the movement. Stop the family, them bring down unemployment. Them want the black woman become a single parent. No daddy can about if Babylon not pay your rent. Where dirty Vatican servants start the enslavement. Buckingham get rich off of this slave shipment. Uncle Sam no want no reparation argument. Them just provide opportunities for prison sentence. Who profits from a whole community's imprisonment? This a big man up at top account him dollars and cents.
What do you have to tell the people about Ras Tafari?
Light to the world. The king of kings and the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. And left himself. Where's my ruler? Hey yo! Yeah. Hear them high, hear the black king born the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them come without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill the lion we come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, and I strive, see sufferation, and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto, straight at it. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chazmach Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network, and welcome to Lion Talk Live, where we reason with frontline workers in the vineyard of Tafari, frontline workers in the Pan-African struggle, the frontline workers in creating a better humanity, building of Zion on earth. That's the theme that we use here on the channel. You know, we talk about what Babylon is doing, but until we create a viable alternative to Babylon, then we're destined to share the same fate. So we are bringing ones who are workers to move the reasoning forward. Yes, Rastafari has beautiful music, and we come to the world and we nice up the place, reggae music. Yes, we grow the good ganja, sacramental herb and the healing. Yes, but those are just facets of a greater movement and of a greater vision for humanity. And that vision was outlined by His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, implemented with the help of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. So this is what we're really here overall on the channel, and it's really an honor. As the channel grows, we are going to be bringing voices from around the world within the Rastafari. I tell people my superpower is I Network, and I've been blessed to have many in the network that we can call upon, and this evening is no different. We have a very special guest. This evening we're going to take I Lion Pride. And hold on, big up the Lion Pride. Who is the Lion Pride? The item I asked. If you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. And then, of course, faithful few, the Lion Pride on Patreon, who support the channel financially. Big up yourself, the item have empowered I greatly. So, the Lion Pride tonight, we are taking the item down into the Caribbean Sea. We're taking the item down into the U.S. Virgin Island. We're taking the item to find out, we hear musically place where midnight, Batch, Ras Attitude, you can call artists, Desiree, so many artists, and this vibration and strong Rastafari vibration. I wonder, where is this coming from? Who are the Rastas? What is the Rastafari energy community like in this place, producing this type of vibration in the earth? Tonight, we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into the Nyabinghi order in St. Croix. We're going to dive into Holy Topics, family, the prison ministry, what's happening with Black people, in a U.S. territory. All of them things that we're going to touch tonight. So it gives I man a great honor this evening to welcome our guests, Nyabinghi priest, president, the Rastafari community in St. Vincent as it relates to ganja. We're going to find out about what's going on with the ganja down there. We're going to find out all of the different works this brethren is doing. He's doing tremendous works. The brethren reached out to I to come to St. Croix. I made the announcement this past Saturday that I will be in St. Croix. So we'll talk about those activities as well. Powerful show. So make sure you share, subscribe. We're going deep tonight, family. So help I to welcome Lion Pride family in the comments. I guess for the evening, Ras Tafari Tzaddi, big up yourself, my brother, Isis.
Yes, perfect love in the name of His Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I and Empress Menen Asfa. Yes, I will say hail to the Lord's anointed, David greater son. Hail him in his time appointed for his reign and out as it begun. He come to break down the walls of the oppression and set all the captives free. Come to wipe away transgression and to rule with equality. For all of I and I who know that the wicked kingdom must fall. Your hands and your heart must be pure and clean to rally round the ice, the coal, and the green. Yes, I was glad when they said, come, let I trot up into the house of the Almighty Emperor Haile Selassie I. And I feet must stand within the gates of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is built as a city that is compact together. But I, the sons and the daughters of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, trod upon to the testimony of New Jerusalem. Yes, to give thanks and praises unto the Almighty Emperor Haile Selassie I. For they are set thrones of judgment from the house of great King David, Solomon, Menelik, Sali Selassie, even unto Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Really?
Yes, so we give thanks and praises. Yes, for Emperor Haile Selassie I is the great king above all gods. Yes, for I and I that know him, he is greater unto I and is real in I life. So we give enough thanks and praises unto him for his merciful loving kindness, which I endure even unto all the generations. Yes, perfect love unto the Lion's Voice family. Yes, perfect love to the eye. Yes, and it's an honor to be on the program with the eye. Give thanks.
It's an honor to have the eye, and the eye gave I a very traditional Nyabinghi welcome. So the ones them who watching this for the first time and not familiar with the Nyabinghi family, the brethren, we can know say my child within that preceptical order, because that is the type of greeting when you come into the order that the eye with them will receive. So we big up the eye for that heartical greeting. But before we get into the general topics, we don't want to just be two talking heads here. Who is the eye? What is the eye child? Where was the eye born? Take us through a young Tafari. Were you born as Tafari? Were you born in the movement? Give us the early history of the eye child.
Ishi. Well, I was born in the Caribbean. Yes. Born in the island of Santurce, Puerto Rico. That's from St. Croix, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes on the plane.
Wow.
My mother, Ann Andrews Jackson, was married to my father, Raphael K. Jackson.
Lineage.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. From my mother's side, Alphonsine Andrews Russell, born in the Virgin Islands, in Tortola, British Virgin Islands, raised up in St. John, and then trod over to St. Croix as a youth. I aunts and great aunts, they migrated to New York City from in the 70s,
all right,
60s. Yes, even in the 60s, many of them had gone. But the matriarch of I family, I grandmother, who is also a culture bearer when it comes to Kwelbe music. She is one of those foundation pioneers that really established the Kwelbe music as the art as it is kind of today.
Okay. What say that name, Kwelbe music?
Yes, what them call it, like Croix music.
Okay, that's native to St. Croix specifically.
Well, I man wouldn't say native to St. Croix, but I man would say come off of the plantation vibration.
Okay.
Yeah, I know with Chicken George and the fiddle, the fiddle man and the slave master then went dance around in the circle and do the square dance and from the plantation days, this is what came forward to this time, even in the colonial eras where you see I and my grandparents master it and made it into such an art that it is right now. You know that it's now being taught in the schools to children. Yeah, I see. But born in 1971. Said we am a 71 March. Aries. So I'm an Aries as well. March 30th, 1971.
I am on Queen is Aries too. Fiery.
Yes, a fiery sign. Very headstrong. Leaders, you know. Yes. But humble altogether still, you know.
Yes, I.
Yes. So I and I is born premature. Mother worked at the airline company from the time she graduated out of high school and with Eastern Airline. And one day at work, she felt some complications and it was nothing for her to just take the flight over to Puerto Rico. So having done that, as she go to the hospital shortly after, I came forward. 7 months, 3 pounds and something ounces, nothing bigger than, so you know.
So, wow.
They put her in a incubator for 3 months. They diagnosed her to be a premature. Hemophilia. Any kind of bleeding, it could be detrimental, any cuts, anything.
Yes.
Yeah, so
do I still have that condition? Do I still have that condition, or you? Because I have an aunt. Do have that. I have an aunt, a family member, have that same thing even up to now, you know?
Sure. Yes. But no, I through the grace of the Most I have overcome that.
Highly. Give thanks.
But
so premature baby in Puerto Rico. Continue.
Yes, that place now is called Old Santurce. It's now like a historical site in Puerto Rico. And I was given the birth name from my father, not my mother. My father named my man Roberto L. Jackson. My father is a sportsman, a ball player. Roberto Clemente, being of Puerto Rico from Santurce, played with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Died in 1971 also in a plane crash, taking doing a humanitarian works to the victims in Nicaragua earthquake. His plane went down. So I guess all of that energy touching my father gave me that name.
Okay.
I
I see that the I coach baseball too. We're gonna touch into that. Continue, Farai.
But I noticed that from a young age, growing up in St. Croix, like I said, I was raised by my grandmother, the matriarch of the family. Raised in a house with about 4 other cousins.
Okay.
An aunt, my grandmother. So a couple of my aunt's children were also being raised by my grandmother.
Okay.
My mother was a single mom of 2 sons, 2 children. My father had left, didn't really see my father till a little time later on. But growing up with my grandmother, with being one of the youngest in the house, education was fast. He was learning quickly, you know.
Yes.
And my grandmother was a real magnet of culture. I could remember always family gathering during Easter celebration. There's a tradition here. Families go on the beach and camp out for the Easter vacation, and that was a tradition as a youth. I could remember that very vividly from 3, 4 years old. Yes, sir. I could remember at 4 or 5 years old sitting on the couch for nap time in the afternoon and couldn't walk on the floor because it's wet. My aunt cleaning the house, watching over us, sit down on the couch. You don't eat your lunch, sit down, time to take a nap. So more time I would go through books. You know, they didn't really have TV, television too tough in the house.
Yes.
The one TV in 70s, in the early 73, 74, that was in my grandmother's room, black and white, and that turns on when my grandmother comes home and turn it on.
Okay. What is St. Croix like? Is it flat? Is it mountain? Is it beaches? What, you know, I don't even know what the landscape is like.
St. Croix is very flat, has its mountains and its peaks, but more so open land, flat beaches.
Land.
Yes.
Nice beaches
Beautiful.
Or
yes.
Okay. Man. Okay. But just want to let the people know.
Yeah, man. I can see the toes and you know, everything in the water, you know, sit here. Yes, I. See the fish them by the eye toes and yes, I.
Okay, them type of beach, because we want to set a picture when they are talking, people can picture what they are, you know, growing up was like. Are there ghettos in the St. Croix, what you call ghetto area?
Ghettos all over the earth, designed by man, by the neo-colonial system, you know. Yes, I. Which was a dung trap and a dung fall and a trap for I and I people. Those that were coming out of the countries in the 60s when the projects were being built here in the late 60s, to let them feel like they're now getting a better way of life because they have a flushing toilet from the outdoor latrine, and you know, electricity was right there at your disposal. Where we was living the country life, you know. Everyone had land and produce and things changed.
You're more self-sufficient. So you were living in this communal. Would you call your family working class, middle class, upper class? Where, you know, because I want to paint a picture of the uprising.
And I would call on myself, my family, watching middle class. I see my grandmother with 8 children. She worked as a custodial worker at the unemployment office. I could remember her coming to school for Iman because, like I said, raised in her house. Mama was a Christian, a devout Christian, Roman Catholic Church, St. Patrick's. So she had control of my life. She enrolled me in St. Patrick's School, a church school.
Okay.
Yes, from kindergarten till the end of second grade. I did private school.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I went to church every Sunday. They didn't have
Okay.
a say about that. That was, you're going to church.
You're going to church. You're going, and in St. Croix they use the same U.S. money, everything, right?
Yes, it's just a territory of the U.S.
Of the
same
US.
currency, passport, everything the same. So
Everything the same. Okay.
that makes it so like one of those islands where everyone in the Caribbean is tapping into, get their naturalization paperwork, and then they fly off to whichever city they want to go in the States.
In the States. So I want to again paint a picture, St. Croix being a crossroad, the US in the Caribbean, because we're going to explore why Rastafari exploded in St. Croix. Why is this energy? Because we heard it musically bust out of the island, and we want to find out, what the source. And then, we hear the Nyabinghi is there. So we want to chase this history through the eye journey. So as a youth, what was the first memory or thought that I had of Rastafari? When did that, your first memory of encountering Rastafari?
Well, I would say those days sitting on the couch when it was nap time, and you had no TV, couldn't walk on the floor because the floor is wet from being mapped, So more time we looked at books. They didn't really know how to read and them thing there, 3, 4, 5. But I was looking at a particular book called the Holy Bible, which was a particular Bible filled with pictures designed for youths. Pictures can done. I show the eye. And that used to entertain I every day. But through that day, and while through that day opened up a consciousness of why everything I man seeing that looks so like angelical is white. When they show the image of the devil, it look black. Like why Yahushua Christus the Christ, why him look white? Yeah, just questioning and then absorbing certain things of the crucifixion and why even man have to die? Why create man to die?
Yes.
Like questioning God,
Yes.
And I man overs the first death of I and I family, which was one of I and I first ancient Alice Rock, ancient cousin of I and I family, first cousin to my grandmother. When she passed, and she used to babysit I man too. Regular.
Okay.
She specialized in Marby. You could go on her table and it's always Marby, about 20 of them strong. She will sell Marby, so you'll see it all fratting up and ancient man. And and I saw that touched the I and I whole family. That I start to question, man, what man have it dead for, And then the crucifixion, and it make I start to question the Most High. What is the purpose? Life, what it is, And then that movie, Alex Haley, the documentation of Roots, that came out in the 70s to maybe 76 or 70, around that time, 77. I tell you, that was a serious footage right there. Roots.
I remember that was the year I was born, 77. You know what I mean?
Powerful year.
Yeah, man. And I know Bob Marley Exodus album came out that year too. Different.
As I said, Bob Marley, all from 74, 75, 76, Marley. The Rastaman vibration was in these islands, man, moving through the sound wave of Marley and the reggae music. The mystical vibration of the Most High through the Irids and Memphis kiddos. Because I can remember all 4, 5 years old in my grandmother's yard, taking the pine tree, the pine tree, what they call the Christmas tree. Well, pulling off those things and sticking it in eye and I hear all over I hear so it could look like locks,
Okay.
The pines them sticking out all over, it look like locks. I and I cousin do that and Yes, I, because we were seeing Rastafari in the island already.
Okay, already
Probably
by
the
the 70s.
60s. Yeah, by the late 60s, you could have found a Rasta man. I born in the 71. So 73, 74, when I could be outdoors and I watching my cousin them, 75, they had dropped out of school for 7th grade, little lax coming, you know, so the mystical vibration was everywhere. The music, it was everywhere. I had an uncle who was married to my aunt, and when he came in, he was born in Washington, D.C. area.
Okay.
Graduated at 16, went into the military, the Navy, did his time, and came into St. Croix. And when he came in with a powerful knowledge of know thyself, African roots, of
Yes.
Kemet, teaching of Kemet, you know. So most of the Rasta man that I knew, those that carry locks in the late 70s, here in Freedom City in Fredericksted, where Anna is from, where Vaughan also dwell in Freedom City.
Okay.
There's a building called the United Caribbean Association, UCA Redemption Bill. This was like the headquarters. I wouldn't say the headquarters of Rastafari, but it was the foundation of blackness, black consciousness. That's what it was.
Okay.
Most of the ones striding was those who were cast out from the homes because how you're thinking, you're not thinking the way Babylon trained you to think.
So who owned the building? Who owned that building?
That was owned by the Honorable Brother Mario Moorhead.
Okay. A Pan-African brother.
Yes, very instrumental in black consciousness and the keeping up of the foundation of I and I history as it pertains to St. Croix and the Virgin Islands and Africa.
Okay.
He's also a historian. So I pay enough respect to the Brother Mario. Because I can remember in 3rd grade, man like Mario came to visit my 3rd grade class and spoke about I and I history. And that was powerful. You wasn't getting nothing like that in the books, in the textbook.
Yes.
So to have a one come into your classroom, dreadlocks down to his ankles and precepts is like, wow, I see this image? Like, wow, yes, I. And his utterances, demand respect. It was like, wow, powerful, you know?
Okay, so it was a Ras. It was a Ras.
Yes, I. Carry locks.
Yes. Well, he carried locks, but he was not a Ras, or he was a Ras.
He was not Rastafari, as we would call it. But I said, most of the ones, the dreadlocks trading in those times, they were Kemet.
Okay.
Brothers following the teachings of Kemet.
I'm picking up now. Okay.
Of the Nile Valley civilization.
This
was the teachings of Brother Mario and my uncle Moses Lewis out of DC that came here. They was teaching the know thyself knowledge from the Nile Valley.
Okay.
The Yucca Redemption building was actually formulated to unite the United Caribbean as one. In the 70s, you had the Grenada rise up in the late 70s.
Yeah,
Maurice Bishop.
Yes. I interviewed Sekou Tafari, who we're going to talk about later. If you watch the episode on the channel, he talks in depth about the revolution, his participation with Maurice Bishop. He was in the island doing works. So we have that on the channel. But you're saying that was also an impact as to a young Tafari when I was growing up as well.
Yes, revolutionary spirit, a revolutionary to the bone.
Yes.
My uncle showed I pictures in Grenada with the revolutionary fighters, Sistrins with M16 across the chest, and they went down there to take strength onto Maurice Bishop. Aid and funding and things like that, you know, because in order to claim your sovereignty you have to have a military defense.
Yes.
You cannot claim sovereignty without military defense.
Yes.
And His Majesty showed I and I that. So from such time in the 70s, I and I upbringing was that of like militancy. Yes. I can remember going to school, leaving in Catholic school. I was an honor roll student, by the way.
Okay.
From 1st grade straight through to 12th grade.
Give thanks.
In second grade, they asked I, man, well, what it is your ambition, what would you like to be? And at the time, I could remember I said a priest. Everybody said a police officer and a fireman. Man said a priest. And it was just icicle because, like I told you, that Bible that I man was watching every day, the pictures tell a big story. Pictures, they tell a big story. If you can't read, but you go watch and you go, wow. So Babylon use all these things, the movie, what you see, the music you hear, to create a certain mental way of thinking for the world.
Programming. Yes.
So I and I upbringing was an upbringing of Babylon is wrong. That's the white man doctrine. I go church. I fireborn, and the reggae music of Bob Marley was so strong and influenced that all my older cousins, 7 and 8 years older than I, they were just laxing up, you know, and I was seeing what was happening to them. Their parents was putting them out the house.
It wasn't popular in those days. In those days, it wasn't popular.
No.
It could determine where you sleep at night if you take on the covenant.
Couldn't go to school neither.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is serious. This is serious as we talk about reparation for the community, and you see when you deny education, it have economic impacts. So these are things that, you know, as Rastafari, as we grow, we're gonna have to take on these things, internal reparation, as well as the reparation from the former slave masters. So how old was the I when the I embraced Rastafari?
Like I man said, from an early youth, from 3-5 years old, from the time I start sticking pints and that Bible opened up my consciousness that there is an Almighty God. Heavenly irate, and man didn't irate this. That's what these images were showing. Who is this? Power, this is power. But I never overstand it. And then seeing and I cousin them, they never deal with no Bible, but they was cooking out of the Yaba pot. They was going up into the mountains and shaking out with aloes, and I man never overstand them thing. But I was mystified, or it was mystical to Iman. It was like Iman, Isaiah, that over what they was teaching Iman in school. This was like relearning when we go to the rainforest out Annalee, and we pick cocoa and we pick mango, and he show Iman different areas to find different fruits. Load up the trunk of the car and come in with enough I go. This is like Rastafari, you know, showing I, hey, we're gonna sell these I go on the side of the street, 4 or 5 for $1. And we build a little currency because they was having it hard to even put economics together. I was seeing that. They was turning to Mother Nature, who was openly embracing her arms. So they was teaching I of Mother Nature, teaching I of the earth. Plant a seed, you're gonna reap. I learned this as a child watching my cousin them who was young Ras. So I noticed when I left private school, I moved to live with my mom, with my mother. In 3rd grade, I man was about going on 8-9 years old. And things changed there. I tell you, around my grandmother, it was a certain kind of a upbringing. And we used to travel every summer. My mother worked for Eastern, I tell the So every summer, they used to give you a big coupon with 10 passes. Each of your children, family. So all of us traveling every summer, from grandmother to cousins to auntie.
Where were some of the places that I was traveling to?
As a youth, we was always checking family in New York City. Bronx, Brooklyn, family all in New York City. We went to Hawaii to my aunt because her husband was in the military. So we visited him in the Big Island. I think, yes. Disney World and the West Coast. The West Coast.
Disney. Yes, you take a stop at Disney.
Is she? Couple times, you know.
Okay. And that
Miami.
not cheap either, you know.
Well, when you have a coupon and you don't have to pay for the plane ticket, you just
make
line
a
up
big
certain
difference.
things.
Yes.
Big difference. And my mother worked for the airline. You get hotel discount to airline. So things were. I was fortunate. Not just to be born in the Caribbean island. If I had to choose any place out of Africa, I'm glad it was the Caribbean island and not Babylon.
Yes.
The coal.
Yes.
The Caribbean island gave I man St. Croix especially because it's different from St. Thomas. St. Thomas is a fast-paced city, like island, like a Miami, fast-paced, endless people, tourists, endless, different vibrations. St. Croix as
Never
a youth.
been to St. Thomas. How far is St. Thomas from St. Croix?
Yeah, you get there on the seaplane in about 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Take a ferry boat and there you get there in about an hour and a half on the ferry boat.
Okay.
Right across the waters.
Okay.
So St. Croix is different. It gives the eye that laid back feeling, country vibration.
Okay.
I have chance to meditate, suss out the eye heavens and the eye thoughts upon the eye heavens. You know, the eye might sit up in a region and don't have a one come and look for the eye for the day because it's that country kind of vibes at time. Yeah, I see?
Yes.
In the elements I grew up on, growing up as in them elementary days, my love was sports, as the eyes can see from my father, even not being raised by him. Certain things is passing the genes, I man realize. It's just it's embedded, whether I know it or not.
Yes.
And sports came natural. My older brother from my mother's side, who have two, he played professional baseball. So it kind of gave I man like something to work towards because it's reachable as a youth. If the brother can do it, the I can do it to higher. If he could get a scholarship to go college, the I have to be able to do that too.
Yes.
And them kind of meditation, you know. And growing up as the youngest one, they never made it easy for I and I. Any games we play, then beat up an I man till me had to just get tough, man, you know. Enough crying as the youngest one, enough bawling, man, you know.
Yes,
man.
Well, I'm the youngest.
Yes, man. I know say I don't want to take the last lick in that just so. Not just so. So yes, man. It was then kind of upbringing and
yes.
But still, like I said, from aside of baseball, I find a joy again in horses.
Okay.
I owned my first horse at 11 years old.
Wow.
I was taking care of other people's horses at 8 years old and 9 years old in third grade in public school. When I got to my mom now, my mom is working at the airport 5 days a week from morning till night. After school, I'm kind of freed up, you know. The community is I and I family now.
Okay.
And instead of gravitating to one's I and I age, just mystically, I and I gravitated to the Rasses, who were 7 or 8, 9 years older than I and I, young Rasses. Some of them who had little shanty in their parents' yard, like this particular brethren that we used to gravitate by his yard because his mom was Isla, you know, allowed him to build a shanty, you know, and set up the electrical card, extension card to have electricity. So once gravitate there and, you know, all this time 8, 9, I get introduced to the herb. I see it from 6 years old when I must see the herb in the ashtray by my uncle Gates and so and he left that little jar there and he turned his back. I will take it up and go outside and check the vibration because I watching him and I see, I respect the eye, man. It have a height, man. The eye cool, man. I know. So I can remember, but at 8, 9 now, sit up with the I and I older generation, my cousins, them and these particular young races, they would give me an education that Babylon wasn't doing Rastafari. That's why I love it. I would be able to learn about Mother Nature, the earth, animals, control horses like I's a big man. Sometimes I can't even get on top of the horse back. I have to ask for help or climb up on something to get on and ride this horse down to the pond and 3 other horses following behind. And when you jump off at the pond, it's problem to get up. Sometimes you pray and I hope someone there. I have to walk out to the place to jump up on the barrel to get on. Enough things as a youth, you know, and fall a couple times and it bring a joy.
Yes, yes.
So I could
So the
remember.
animals, let me paint a picture. That you said that you're riding the horse and the other horses are following because of the vibration that I trotting with as a youth. Because I want to make it clear to the ones and what they are really, blocking to I and I. This calling, because you're moving with Rastafari vibration as a young youth. And these mystical things are taking place. It's the eye story, so you make it look just simple, so. But I want to make sure we catch them thing there. But continue.
Well, in my life, I come to realize it's a mystical birth. I don't take my life for granted at all. Because at many times I have heard professionals say, man shouldn't be yesterday, through sorting other little health things and so. But at 7 months being born, premature, a little thing so that she said me never suck breast milk in my life because when they bring her and I mean she take him away, man. And my mom never took it back in my mouth. So is certain things I notice in my life. I could remember she always saying, watch how the eye play. If you get caught, it could be dangerous. I could remember around 5, 6 stepping on a nail that went into my feet because we ramp out those bare feet and we have older brother and cousin and I try to keep up.
Yes.
And step on a nail through a board and it was just me and my brother Kenny home and wow, the amount of blood that flowed that day, wow, how that blood, that bleeding stopped. My brother took Vaseline after trying washing it in the tub and panicking. He just took Vaseline and just stuck it in the nail hole and pack it with Vaseline till it just. When my grandmother get home, she wash it out with hot water, Epsom salt, and then take soft candle, the white soft candle, and lit it and had my cousin them whole eye man down and she dropped the wax down into the hole. And enough wax and then take aloes, split the aloes in half, cover my feet up and tie that with a sack so the aloes stayed on it. Within 3 days, that hole was sealed up there,
Okay.
Yes, man.
Ancient,
that was mystical.
Ancient medicine. Wow.
Mystical. I couldn't. Wow. Mystical. I never went to hospital. And next time the galvanized by the dark house slit me 18 to 13 stitches here. Yeah, I can remember them call my mother and she was panicking like, but they sew that up as a little youth and I started to realize, well, they say you're going to die if you get such major cut, but it was able to heal. At times the turtle fish tank dropped on my toe when I was about 2 years old, but my mother was visiting and staying with her over the strangling and I pulled down the fish tank and she panicked again, because partial hemophilia, but over 2 them times I realized I overcame it, that's not a problem. But like I said, the influence of Rastafari, the first Nyabinghi consciousness to I-Man was held in I community, which was Wim, grew up in Wim.
Okay.
And it was held in a brethren of mine who is about 8, 9 years older than I-Man, in his mother yard, who allowed him to build a shanty again. Because mommy ain't check for smoking things and this, I tell this, don't go in the fridge, man. So she allowed him to build his shanty said way too in his yard. And she happened to be like,
big up mommy,
yes,
we have to big up mommy. Yeah, man.
Enough respect to some of those parents that who love over discrimination of your youth because of what Babylon society said, what society said about your youth, them going to astray because they lax up and seeking Rastafari. Some parents hold that heartical love still. Yeah, man, you could build a little shanty in the yard, do your smoking, bring your friend, they could go over there, So I respect that. And she was my vice principal in elementary days from 3rd grade to 6th grade. Imagine she my vice principal. I can remember a time I come in her office to get discipline because I little rebel youth still, I end up in the principal office, boy, and where she sit is man, and she made the same little youth in her yard with riding her son has up and down, and when she see me in the yard and she go after her, but how you have that little boy with that Ricky? I tell you, boy, You know, because she said, but look, so suppose your parents come wrong, you get, why, how you could do that thing? It's bad enough you doing it to your influence the little youth. But like I man said, the same older ones to I man were like bigger brothers. And when that man said, well, enough, don't give me no, him look at he's safe, man, no more for him. It was no more for him, you know. Them calling shot. Enough time I sit up in the congregation there reasoning and in the gathering at that time of I and I observing. It wasn't too much Bible.
Yes.
Man, them no quotes of the Bible, but Marley sang them enough quotes of the Bible. So it caused man to go into the Bible, but Bible wasn't read amongst I and I.
Okay.
And enough reasoning of domino playing, socializing of reasoning. We watch sports together, said we too, because in the VI it's a culture spot, my brethren. Horse racing, car racing, basketball, baseball. A culture thing, man. Yeah, I see culture is very strong. Music, I could remember all in growing up in I and I auntie yard where one of my cousin them was older than I and I. He had privilege to build a shanty to in my auntie yard.
Okay.
And him was into horse too, so him built a horse stable.
Okay.
And the horse stable at night at certain times turned into the reggae studio, the reggae music practice hall. They has to go outside, clean studio, bring in the drum set, hook up the man, and it turned into that's what we're practicing for now.
Okay, and wow.
It's reggae music them practicing. So all from the 70s, I hearing this message of reggae music. Some of the first bands them that come out. All when Midnight would have been a youth just like I man in growing up here. You had ancient band like Creation Rebels, Zeus and the Kasha Heads.
Okay.
Yeah, man, bands that
so Midnight was just continuing a tradition that they came and saw already in St. Croix.
Yes, Midnight grew here in this same pulse, this vibration.
Same vibration.
Like I said, it was like more in the time dreadlocks man then were more revolutionary vibration, fighting against the shitstem and any injustice, standing up for I and I rights, demanding I and I rights. As a youth man,
that explained the lyrics where Van come with and the energy, because I know enough people in Jamaica in particular were wondering where this Rastafari energy in St. Croix coming from, you know, and how it's so strong, because even in Jamaica, when Jamaica wasn't doing so much roots, St. Croix was pumping out the roots music, you know what I mean? So that is one thing, you know, even enough for the youth them that came in the reggae revival, they were listening to Midnight, you know, and I brethren Gabriel Selassie, you know, listening to Holy Pub Midnight and, you know, Kingston Dub Club. But you're saying that vibration was in St. Croix already from the 60s and the 70s.
Yes, in the 70s, we had reggae bands. Like I said, I could remember reaching to junior high, 82. And for Black History Month, reggae bands come in. Zeus and the Kasha Head played in the courtyard. Rastaman in the band, and I watching the image. And of course, at that time, junior high, from 6th grade, it's almost like a regular thing. We sipping the ancient sea. So by 7th grade, I could probably go and trot up in the regions and get a zig, be able to buy a zig, you know. And yes, I feel island. Yes, I get a little nick in them time. You remember them yellow manila envelope?
Yes.
Man. Yeah, I get a spend a $5 nickel bag, and that was like three, 4 jars. A 10-piece, 10 dime bag would give you almost 5, 6 jars. You know,
and this may be shocking to some people who never grew up in the Caribbean and know that ganja is so normalized in so many of the spaces. You know what I mean, in terms of how people interact with the plant. But for people who grew up in the Caribbean, what they said don't sound so strange. You know, because I know some people say, "How the brethren sipping up herb at such a young age?" You know what I mean, but ones have to understand that it's a different cultural context that we're talking about here. You know, and
different to Nyabinghi, because, like I said, when you grow with a grandmother with so much youth and the older than the eye. The grandmother works. The youths, them, some of them drop out of school. Them seeking this pulse. It's a pulse. Like Vaughn said, the whole earth is now Rasta right now. The cycle, you know, the earth cycle is Rasta. And from the 70s with Marley, it was an awakening where the most I use this music here and such ones to carry the message where they couldn't go physically. So the radio station were playing it, and from the time you hear the mystic, it was an energy just pull man, the younger youths to it. So from watching that first wave in numbers in the late 70s, in numbers, youths out of junior high and man drop out of school and locks up and the family deal with them away, but that wasn't stopping nothing. The herb was, you will see that around, it wasn't a wow, strange thing. That's an ordinary thing to see a ganja tree grow on. But the brutalization and the injustice was real. That was also can be seen.
They were locking up people in St. Croix for herb.
Of course, all in the 83s. 83s bring us out in turn. I left the Virgin Islands to go America to school after 83. After 83.
How old was the guy at that time?
I went to Aruba at 12 years old in an all-star team. And saw
baseball.
Yes. The first time traveling without family, but peers and sports vibes and give I a sense of vibration. And like I said, I didn't really kind of fit in because the youths them my age, they wasn't born in urban, wasn't into the Rasta vibes, you know.
Did I have locks at this time or no locks at this time?
No, my parents made sure of that all at that time. I was the barber probably really got wealthier family, you know, because I had a stepfather that they know, they felt the vibration. I mean, I could remember in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, especially around 6, 7, when you're fanning the fire for the Italian tree stone. And so that was my duty. Get the fire going, grate the coconut, anything we need to go get, you go get it and bring it forward. And when I go home at night, I got to smell like smoke. And my mom would give it to me, you know, you and this Iman shit and you know, this Iman thing, you don't hear on it. Iman had to deal with it. Every Saturday, Mario Moorhead had a radio program, come on with reggae music and, you know, militant talk, burning out the system, all the corruption. And man, I can remember I got my radio in my bedroom upstairs, jamming it, and she would be downstairs and the first turn that off, man. You know, turn that off, turn it off. Like, wow, she fighting against the reggae music, the vibration, you know. So it was like, wow, why they fighting these vibes, man? But she knew, man. They had certain times I left the 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. I get in the house 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I never had a key to bap. Nah, you don't know how to come in my house when it's time to come in. You think you're his man? You think you're his... I go back by I man them then. I said, wow, can't get in, have to walk. I don't go down to the next area to my aunt's house to get in, you know, a 20-minute walk and be like, wow, my son, you're getting penalized for just vibes, you know?
Yeah.
So her topic would probably be, you think you're his man, you're being rude. But I man wasn't being rude. I was an honor roll student.
Okay.
You don't have to come to school for I man. I don't get in problems. I got my own. I deal
very
with
critical, very critical, because when you are painting this picture of a youth smoking herb, you know, up at the Rastafari yard, I know a lot of people would have probably think that I was failing in school and thing, but you're just saying now that I was an honor roll doing these things. Yes. And we're not advocating for any youths to smoke herb, but we're telling the brethren story. So we want to be clear that the brethren was still seeking of the excellence academically while he's going through this Rastafari journey. But continue.
And not just academic, but developing a man's self in sports as well, because I could remember at 12 years old, I was the leader of the team and took the team to the championship, and we won the championship. Them days they used to call I man Ras. I would come out of the bush on my bicycle just in time for the game, come in with red eyes, put on my cleats, grab my thing, stretch and cut and punk stick in there, man. After the game, right back up into the bush, session and yes, and so them youths were like, boy, Ras, man, Ras, you know, from little league.
So I was a celebrity. You was a celebrity baseball player. Them I look for you.
Well, the respect I man game, but not a celebrity because you are rude boy, man. You are rebel. Yeah, that I man thing. You know that I man thing.
Yeah,
but yes, man, it wasn't the popular ones. The sharp boy, the pretty boys, they were the popular ones. But like I said, every couple months, I was taken to the barber shop in West by my stepfather, and he sat down, make sure I stayed in that seat. And he had no problem paying for it too. And tears would come in my eye every time. My eye. So much big tears, I tried to hold it on. Sometimes he used to drop down the barber. He used to see this through the mirror, both of us watching each other. I could tell, boy, he feel like, boy, I don't want to do this. And I could see a hot in the eye, but boy, your father said, low and even, army style, low and even. So he going low and even, you know?
Yeah.
And this how it was, man. Water in my eyes, man. And so after 8th grade, 15 years old, I went again in the All-Star. We won the league at 13 to 15.
Okay.
Was the leader again of I-19. We beat out St. Thomas Inter Island, and we went to Panama, Little League, Caribbean tournament. Who wins that got a Williamsburg championship. And we came in runner-up. We had several players on that team that have made it to the pros that was playing with I-Man in that time. Man like DJ Cummins, that won a World Series championship ring with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Man like Eddie Williams, he also was in minor league for St. Louis Cardinals. Man like Jackie Ross, who also played minor league with Brewers. So out of that class, many ones I saw advance in it. Yeah, I see. So
advance.
Yes,
and we're going to talk about where the I journey led. Ras Attitude checking in. Big up Ras Attitude, Boondocks TV family. We have 16 of I on the live. If you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We are here. We're going to go into Rastafari, Insane Croix. We're getting the story straight from the lion because the lions have to tell our own story. We don't want to hear about this from no third party. You know, I story as Rastafari. We have to have Rastafari own platforms telling our story. I want to just take time and big up the sponsor, Ramia King Design, with the tumbler, His Majesty. Big up Ramia King Design, big up CMAS, sponsors for the Lion Voice Network. Again, make sure you subscribe, like, share, make it, let the algorithm know that this will send out a road. Give thanks. So, take us to when the I started growing the I covenant and now when you burn down the scissors and comb part. When did that
let
happen?
me show the eye. Because it was another stage of my life when I left St. Croix.
Okay, talk to us.
When I went to high school in the States, in New Jersey, is the first time I experienced discrimination.
Okay.
Coming from St. Croix, I never experienced no discrimination, no police brutality towards I-Man, but I seen police brutality upon Rastafari.
Okay.
You know, ones I know. But heading to New Jersey, it was to try to pursue a scholarship to go to college in the footsteps of my brother.
Yes.
And so I then moved to my father, who was living in Brooklyn, and came out of the city and went into Jersey. So I was now in Jersey, spent 4 years there from 9th to 12th grade. Could count the amount of blacks in the high school at the time in Woodbridge High. Big up yourself, those in still the class of 1990. That's the graduating class out of Woodbridge High School, the Barons. Well, I could remember in 9th grade jumping on that bus to try to find my way home, and this Caucasian youth here, boy, Ras, I still remember the eye, you know. Okay. Yeah, I come and tell I, man, get up, you little nigga, man, and give me a seat, man. He ain't had no more seat on the bus. He coming from football practice and
Okay.
trying to bully I man, get up out the seat so he could sit down there, you know. So it was I'm not moving. And him bigger than I, man. So equal vibes, but anyway, them is the vibes that I man experience. Okay, remember my first time trying to get a draw up. Meet up with a Mexican, Puerto Rican up there in the school, and you know, when you see the I from Jamaica, man, they hear the accent, all Caribbean, they say, you're from Jamaica, man. They say, no, man, we're close to Jamaica, you know. And right away, I asked, get some herbs, you know. Till I meet him a day after school, meet by the pizza shop, get us a good draw. And at that time, after I get the draw now, I set it up in my shoe, and we step out of the pizza store, police roll up on us and handle me real rough, man. Them time I have no luck, but me trading with a coffee.
Yeah.
Me trading coffee down, you know.
Yeah.
And that create a big problem too, because they rough me up, and I can remember, boy, I have rights, you can't rough me up. This is 9th grade, you know. And while him roughing me up and they looking to altercate now to another level, the next officer who was reasoning with the Mexican brother now come and say, everything's safe, let him go, everything's safe. Because he had a car lot that had broken in several blocks down. And they had got in the car, so they prowling now. They prowling like a beast.
Yeah.
A black youth pull up on the black youth, you know. So
yeah.
I remember going into my father the next morning, Saturday, and like I said, never really live with my father, you know. Just moved up. And you know, when he rise up, I said, my son, Dad, you ain't gonna know. Well, me never really used to say that. I mean, coming from such a vibration, that connection, we just used to start to talk.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna know what happened to me first night, you know.
Yeah.
As I man start to talk, what happening, like I explained to the eye. The first remark was, you're up here for a couple of months and this Rasta thing, they are dealing with that hat on your head all the time. That's the problem. You're on this Rasta thing. You know, and things didn't go to Isla after that interaction, you know. After that interaction, I man left the house, went out into the cold and, you know, still had the draw, whole meditation and stayed out for the rest of the day till midnight when everything is quiet and I come in and don't have to see nothing, just got to rest. And I learned that day, and I have to keep a lot of things to myself.
Yes.
Because I was starting to be accused and look to be persecuted for what I thought I was innocent for. Maybe an experience, boy, you really went out there to buy a car, and that's the problem. But to I man, in 9th grade, the herb had already come a part of I man life. I man music I was listening to was just strictly reggae music. Never like calypso music, never was into the steel pan vibration, just reggae music.
Okay.
You know, that was the vibration. Just didn't have no locks on my head because it was being fight down at home, but I had a vision. I have to get a scholarship and I can make it to the professional too. I can do it too. So
they
I
are
had
chasing your baseball vision. You're chasing your baseball aspiration. You're wearing a kufi. You had an afro them time there?
Yes, with my dad now I was able to wear an afro one, you know? Yes,
yeah. How old was the eye at this time?
I went up to New Jersey in 9th grade, 15.
15, okay.
Yes,
So you started to get your growth spurt, you're getting into your man frame these times. You know what I mean? So when was the decision to grow your locks now?
Well, I ended up leaving Jersey after high school quickly. I got a scholarship for baseball. I ended up becoming well known in the high school from being discriminated against and being called bumpkin. They didn't know what the heck a bumpkin was till I looked it up and said someone from the islands come off a banana boat. I was like, wow. I was called buckwheat in Brooklyn, playing ball every weekend in Brooklyn. I played ball all over the place, you know. But I got a scholarship.
Where did I go? Where did I get?
Far south, into the sun, into Miami. Went to Miami Dade North campus, took up music because I played in high school for 4 years the trumpet. And
Okay.
I man said, well, you know, I man don't really have to go to college, you know. It's baseball, I man going. This baseball we're dealing with, but when we get a scholarship, we don't need to worry about major because a baseball we're gonna deal with, man.
Man,
but you needed a major. So I said, well, music I am. I like Bob Marley. I self-taught myself on the piano class. And while they told me, you ain't ready to join the band yet. Go in the back room and learn the skills and how just to make a song. I did that for 2 years in 9th grade and 10th grade. And then he said, all right, you could join the band now in 10th grade. You know, so I went from 5th and 4th trumpet up to 2nd trumpet by junior year. By senior, I was playing 1st and 2nd trumpet.
Okay.
So I said, well, all right, stick with the trumpet, Tafari. You could learn music, you like the keyboard, you could learn all the instruments, be a music teacher, if anything. You need to have something to fall back
have a creative. I know, I have a creative background, you know. I feel in the energy now. Hold on. Big up Lion Pride. It's a blessed Rastafari. If I get a chance, ask the brethren about Midnight, aka Van Benjamin. So we'll touch on that little more when we get up to that part there. But continue.
Yes, sir. So once living in Miami now, it brought a whole different experience and another stage of my life.
Okay, because that's like the Caribbean again when you're in Miami.
Yes. Right into the sun again and but still a fast pace, Miami. But I was happy to be in the sun, in the hot weather. I did 4 years in winter, treachery in winter. I had 2 arthroscopic surgery in high school. Trying to play football in freshman year. They tore up my TL, my what you call it, the meniscus cartilage.
Wow.
Yes, so I went to the first doctor in New York, and that doctor butchered me, took out almost 60-70% of the cartilage. After playing, I retired from football quickly after that. Sophomore, junior, and senior year, I played basketball
okay. How tall is the eye? How tall is the eye?
5 feet 7 inches.
Okay.
But coming from the islands, I and all away in the islands can run ball. So when you go Babylon, I know say you dominate and you hustle in defense. I gonna do good, you know. Most youths from the Caribbean, from the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean, when they go America, they excel easily, you know, my brethren. Easily.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, like I said, when I left there, I was well popular in Woodbridge for baseball. I led the team to our conference and districts. So, yes, I went down south. For the first time, I'm like my own man. I don't have to hide to burn no can. Because all them time in high school, brother, if I only know I met up with my brethren them in high school was from Jamaica. 2 brethren, a family from Jamaica that were close to I, man. Humble, we Caribbean, and a brethren from Panama. And one day I out, and the brethren from Panama come to the door, ring the bell, and my father saw his eyes, and that was it. When I man came home to the house, he gave me a lecture. I don't want that brethren around here. I don't want that boy around here, and I don't want you talking to him. You hear me?
Yeah.
I had to make a phone, brethren. Watching up hell. Don't come wrong here again. You know, I man gonna come and check the eye. I will check the eye. Because don't call neither. And that's how my relationship was in high school. My brethren, them, no, I man will check the eye. My old man never knew where my brethren them live.
Wow.
That's how I had it. To check it out. So when I man come in, I would have to go straight in and bap, voice in, don't go back, to wash up my hand. Because I may have to encounter him close up and I would have to hide my donny, my money, hide them because one time my man boss off and Josie went to New York, catch the train in 9th grade down to Brooklyn and got lost, return home, you know, because I walk all the way to the train station, but it was dark when I got in and kind of got lost and ran into this place. Josie is a redneck area.
Yeah.
And after I man felt that energy, this redneck looking at her way, I said, I prefer call my dad, you know. Tell him, my man. Yeah, when I told him what happened and how I got there, and boy, he was like, that's your allowances. Him ease up and giving I money, no more.
Wow.
He was like, you going far, all the way to New York City without who gave you permission to go? Who you tell? But man, cousin them in New York, Tafari, come man. Jersey, man. Why out in Jersey, the suburbs? Man, come city, man. So I
So
went
you
city.
go to the city and get lost.
So
So
I learned certain things of how to have a relationship with my father. And it was
yes,
based on sports.
yes.
Never
So
had no problem
you're
with
living
school.
in two worlds. You're living in two worlds. You have your Rastafari world, you have Bun Herb, you listen reggae music, and then you have to be clean cut for your father, your sportsman, athlete of the year for
Why
your
I
father.
said 2 walls, boy. How did I put it? I tell you, 2 walls. Yes, 2 walls, man.
Yeah, man.
2
Yeah,
walls.
man. So take us to Florida now. You're in Miami. You start go to Congo in Florida. How that go?
Well, in Florida now, pursuing I dream again. And I dropped my major as music. I went into psychology because my music teacher was African, and he asked me, man, something is taking up too much of your time. For a music major, when he said, la, 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 you're supposed to play that and read it out. And he was saying, the eye taking up something else. We're holding the eye up. When I explained I was on a baseball scholarship, he said, next semester, I really want the eye. I said that if you're going to deal with music, it requires just as much time and love as baseball. And if you cannot give music that, change your major. And I said that it, and I went to say, well, what do I like to do? I said, well, I man like to reason with people. So I led I to psychology and then to social work.
Okay.
So I left Miami, did with associates in social work, and transferred to Georgia State University in Atlanta.
Okay.
At that time in Miami, I really get to learn more about myself.
Okay.
I was more freed up. I was living with other brethren from the Virgin Islands who had moved to Miami to high school to pursue baseball again. And it just so happened we all buck up in the same thing. I go college day in 12th grade, and we move in, several of us in an apartment. I had the support of my dad, who was at least helping me with my rent.
Yes.
I had that scholarship that you get a work study program. So I was able to move around a little bit, but being on my own, I realized Rastafari, it was really calling I man.
Okay.
And the only thing holding I man from doing so was baseball.
Oh, wow. And decisions.
After the Hurricane Andrew, that was 1992, I think.
Yes.
I worked with a mental health institute for the hurricane recovery as a mental health technician.
Yes.
Basically, I drove a staff of 5 of us into the damaged area of South Florida and helped families, assisted them to, recovery. And enough referrals to other agencies for help. And
okay.
I enjoy that, helping people like that. It made me to realize, yes, this is what I like to do. So I moved to Atlanta with plans that my college, while in college, my first year, I met a sister coming out of high school, and I started dating her, and she went to Tuskegee University, and so it was a little distance apart at time. I can remember taking that long interstate 10 going out that side, boy, redneck countries again to watch yourself on them road. Babylon, I tell you, man. So I know, say, well, when I reached Atlanta, I brought her to the islands too during that time in Miami because, she was there for I man, really like a cornerstone, no family in Miami. Really, when I look at my brethren, them, you couldn't really depend on your brethren, them for they just as they're young too, but finding a sweetheart now, and she has family there now, I was able to humble myself and be taken in. You could get a meal and things.
Yes.
Drive around, someone to show you the place. So I was very thankful. I am very thankful.
Give thanks.
And I learned about respecting a woman said way,
Important lesson. And we're going to talk about that because there is a family, man. I want to touch that part there too. Because this channel is about the Rastafari family. We support families on this platform because that's the only way we can build a nation is with stable families, you know. So talk to why this time now you're helping disaster. Are you having locks? Because I want to know where
At
that
this time now, at this
yes,
time, right after the Hurricane Andrew, in
yes.
1993, I transferred to Atlanta.
To Atlanta,
And
okay, yes. And then
I could remember the December when I came from Miami and was heading up to school again for January semester. My brethren who was younger than I that I always cut my hair in Miami because in Miami was a fade, low fade all the time.
Yes.
Only one person touching my head was
yes,
Taiwan, a brother who I was mentoring from high school, you know, because he loved my work ethic. So
yes.
I trained him and he was an all-star player too and a passing cutting here. So
Okay.
never paid $1 for a haircut neither from Tai.
Okay.
It was like family, you know. He know
Yeah,
just how I saw. I can remember telling him in front of his mom, I make this tight as usual because this is the last time anything I go on top my head. This is the last haircut tie. He said, for real, Ras, because he called me Ras to you. For real, Ras? I said, yes, man. For real, So he took me down nice and he said, man, I'm gonna do the best job I ever. You know, take me up and I reached down St. Croix and from that time he never combed me hair again. Went up with just little because it was a low little thing. I remember buying me the first Rasta hat from Penny Feather from Breed, a Rasta man here. From the time I might know myself, I'm living in my mother's house. This Rasta man has always been an entrepreneur, printing Rastafari t-shirts, making hats. To this day, he's doing the same thing on another level. Big up yourself, Ras Breed. He really is an entrepreneur and an inspiration for Rastafari youth from such time. Yes, sir, as a business owner.
Mighty. So they moved from Atlanta to St. Croix.
No, I moved from Miami to Atlanta.
So
And
from
locks up now.
Yeah,
Yes,
you locked
sir,
up in Atlanta.
and
Okay,
locks up.
okay.
Yes, sir. And while going school and so, it wasn't too many Rasta money at the university. I could remember a couple, you know, Brother Enoch there from Atlanta and went through the classes. The AmeriCorps program came. Bill Clinton initiated some AmeriCorps program and it was the first year and I was selected as one of the youths at the university to join the AmeriCorps program. And the next semester I was ordered to couldn't take any classes while you're in the AmeriCorps program. You would be offered $10,000 to go towards your scholarship at the end of the 10-month program. So I was a substitute, a teacher's aide in one of the elementary school in Atlanta, Georgia public school in Fulton County.
Okay.
And I remember taking a fast, which I usually did as a habit during sports. I would fast during from January, the New Year, January, February, March at my Earth Day. I would break the fast of the Sacramental. I remember in Atlanta that day there, it was my Earth Day, holding the fast for 3 months now. My Earth Day came, it was a Friday. The AmeriCorps team leader said, today is a free up Friday. The item take a 2-hour lunch break and report again to the base and we'll go over some things for the following strong, you know. We used to do different community projects, garden projects with different community groups and so on. It was a powerful advice for Iman working in the community again.
Yes,
in low income communities. Like I said, that bring a joy working with people. So it was starting to know myself more, said what I love to do and things like that. Treading as Rastafari, sipping her. I could remember in Atlanta not really knowing the place. I tried to a place they call the Underground, like 5 Point. And it was a kind of place where for the first time I'm seeing skinheads and punk rock people, and I went into a little culture store, bought some oils and couple music and things like that. I saw a Rasta man, a brother with like selling jewelry, silvers and copper, and I said, well, just the spirit moving, being led by the spirit. Where is my people? Where is my people? He said, who Rasta? I said, yeah, Rasta people, man. He said, go down to the West End, man. Look for the corner house. You see the red, gold, and green flag. Tell them I send the eye. Ask for such and such. Yeah, you know. So I said, I man tried down there. Anyway, I tried down there. It was wrong the month of April, going over wrong the Passover time, wrong ISIS time into it. I drove down there, went to the home with the flag. I found it. I knocked on the door. The Empress came forward. I asked for the Kingman, for the Kingman, and 3 times she went into the room. I man not talking now, and you know, I man, I tell you, I'm not talking. How did I come back with the Holy Spirit? Yeah, man. I said, well, I is a young virgin checking for the eye. The virgin came to the door like, where you look? Herb not. Look, Ganja, Ganja, you look now. I said, no, man, like to me, rude, man. But something within I man 3 times. I man said, no, man, tell him my man come from far 3 that she went back 3 times, Rastafari. So the brethren, he read right now. Him come out with an attitude. Who you be? Yeah. I don't tell my queen, who will I be? Tis Ganja you want now. I said, no, but what do I want? I man looking for Rastafari. How he come out, you know, how he came out that time, man. He like not being sarcastic, but like, man, I man looking for Rastafari. And this so he gave me an answer to. Pick up your Bible and read from page 1.
What, brother? Yeah, which version was that? Then which version was that?
This was a brethren, we call him Ras Tafari.
Okay, you know? I don't know Ras Tafari in Atlanta. We have a Ras Tafari here in DC, but I don't know that Ras Tafari.
Israel, a guitar famous, good guitarist, play with Ras Michael as well too, you know.
Okay. Because I try to Atlanta every year, you know, and bless up the Bingy man them down there. But continue the story. So the man said, pick up your Bible from page 1. I saw the man I deal with the eye.
Rastafari.
How old was the eye at this time?
This was 1993. I graduated being 19. I man is about going on 23 years old when I locked up, man.
So the man asleep and this 23-year-old come on gates, same looking for Rastafari. All right. So all that.
And then him last word song before I turn off, and him saying like turning off to me right. He said, I Nyabinghi house the next door there if I used to check vibes, you know. And I jump in my car, driving back to my, and I driving forward to my gates and burning a fire, man. Burning a fire. Because the I man, it was like, I asked my brethren there, man, this is how this brethren come to, you know. Brethren, so I go forward anyway to the gates and bill a draw and IDT, you know. And went into the Nyabinghi. I was 3 light ISIS or something that night, and we check out the ISIS. The first time get a fire baptism as a youth. My first experience at Nyabinghi was in the same brethren name yard. And I was about 10, 11 years old, and I tell cooking and you know a little Nyabinghi 1, 2 and the bass drum and then we reggae music and we just hold meditation. But trying into this year was a different experience. This was Bongo Headful, ancient. Bongo Headful was the leading ancient of that house at the time. Bongo Pidao was also an ancient at that house there, but he had tried up and had left ATL at that time. So now, when I man tried into the assembly, ISIS was riding already. Never really been to a Nyabinghi assembly. So me tried into the assembly and full moon too. Bongo Headful and the Kete riding, the chant riding, and the only thing I could tell you is a fire baptism. I will shut up on him and
those Asians were serious, some serious Asian them. You know, I didn't meet Bongo Headful, but Raspido was here with I for a while in the DMV, you know, in Baltimore. So tried whole heap of ISIS with Raspido, the ones that would come in from Baltimore, chance them and Kete and you know. So I know what the eye is talking about. So that was the fire baptism into the order in Atlanta.
I felt well, our vibes happened to because just the chance them it put a man in meditation in a trance like and I kind of zone out, close my eye, just feeling the meditation, right in the heavens too. And I didn't know who's on my left and right. Me not know no one's really, you know. I me reach out and, you know, call out on the Father name and tell one, hold hands on I night, man. Hold hands on I night. And when I man check myself, my hand hit the next person to me and then when I watch me like fire, you know. And when the fire burn, me kind of open up my eyes like, what the fire? What do I deal with? What do I deal with? Because one's watching me now like, what with this youth here about hold hands and I night? Oh, I want this youth fire, man. So, you know, as the fire hit me now, it take me out of the trance and I've kind of felt away, you know, so I kind of slip out of the eyes and went into the vehicle, you know, I sat there for about 20 minutes, like, what happened there, Aya? What really happened there, Aya? And then I didn't feel like the love, like the ones them welcome me, it felt like a fire, man. What I'm not Catholic church fire. Fire burning, you know, one's burn fire. Fire burn Catholic church, man, hold hands, man, a Holy Ghost, man.
Yeah.
So I went to the church to meditate on the songs I heard, you know, and sip a dry. They're like, Aya, what really went on just there? Aya, what happened? And then I went home. I didn't step back into the assembly. Aya. What I end up doing is, when I get out of college early, I would go to Bongo Headful Gates by the Bingy house because it was heavily his yard in the West End. And buy youth for me. We would sell ital and herbs, and I would patronize him. Buy some herbs, some ital, and sat in. He's an artist too, you know. And sat with him while I eat the ital and Bongo Headful anything. You need a right to go to the store. You need to do this here. And till he got comfortable. Yes. And then I start taking him to the stores. Any little run Ras, take me here. And I get to ask questions, you know, reason about different topics that just come to my heavens. And that day when the brethren told I to go and read my Bible from page 1, when I went home, I went into the True Barrier. I was renting a house from a brother from the Bahamas who was living in ATL, was engaged to a successful black woman in ATL and was living with her. So turned his home over to me, just pay rent, keep everything in his name. And, you know, he was familiar with the Rasta culture too, you know, being from the Caribbean islands raised up. So him kind of showed me little steps, and 5 Points was one of the places he showed me, you know. So from 5 Points, I then get the introduction to the West End.
Yeah.
And that brought me into the Rastafari community now.
Yes.
When I went home that evening, I went into the Trueberry because I did turn that into my sanctuary room to sip the can from the front room, living room. And in my sanctuary, the Trueberry had bookshelf with books in it, but I never studied the books. It wasn't my books put there. I was just going to college, just trying to maintain grades and everything. And my college books was enough, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, because I never really read like that. You know, the first time I really read the Bible, I landed in jail in Miami by Jump Out. You know, bad boys, say what you gonna do, and they show that where the police jump out for you.
I experienced that live in DC in the 90s. You know, we get jump out police and see them jump up on other people too. You know, so we live those experiences here in DC, so we know exactly what they are talking about.
So I experienced that twice in Miami. And Miami, they seem like a racist place too. Cubans against Africans, Americans, you know.
A lot of people don't talk about that part. Yes, a lot of people don't talk about that part. So
very serious.
So the I was trained in the order by Ras Bongo Headful. That was one of the key elders.
Yes, that was one of the first ancient elders of the Bingy house that I felt comfortable enough to be able to just question him about anything. Talked about women, we talk about the drums, meditations was flowing there. Why and I? Because when I went home that evening in the Trueberry at eye level on the shelf was a Bible. They didn't know it was there, but the father made it, that's a Bible. So I picked up the Bible like the Bible said, roll a draw, and started from page 1. And the Bible started to make sense. They are, being led by Memphis Kiddos, by the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
It made sense. And I read every day. And I started to see I myself in the prophecy.
Okay.
I started to see I and I ancient ones, I and I ancestors in the prophecy.
Okay.
I started to identify I and I self. I started to see Ethiopia. I started to see out of blackness everything come from by reading by I self.
Yes, yes. It's an African story. It's an African story.
Because growing up with my grandmother going to the Catholic Church, it was a white Jesus philosophy.
Yes.
And after leaving the Catholic Church to public school in third grade, me never had to go to church again. Because my mother didn't go to church. She basically watched church every Sunday on TV. But I didn't go physically. I man was then pounding reggae music, hearing that message. And it was reggae music, my brethren, that opened up the light to the message of the education of Africa. Of this King of Kings. The messages in the music is what caused me to go look. And there was a book going up called Iterations of Rastafari.
Yes, we talked about it. Yeah, we've talked about it on the channel. Powerful book.
Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. Those were books I instantly stayed reading. Lots of poetry, lots of psalms in there, lots of iterations and visions of pictures that give inspiration by watching and reading. Those were like, yes, I can remember drawing enough Rastaman image in my school books, them with a big draw and big Congo and as a youth. And so as the I see now with Bongo head full now, questions came up since reading the prophecy about the ital liberty and the first estate of I and I in Genesis. And questions to him like, but what I and I don't deal with animals, but yet still I and I harps is made of animal skins. Yet still I and I wear leather shoe, leather hat. And what's more ital? And he started telling I and I, well, you know, we have rice skin harps, he have seen, and you have hemp skin harps, but these things is not so prevalent amongst I and I, but they are. And these agitations stayed with I and I. And like I said,
we have to evolve the trad. I'm glad you said that, you know, because these are things in the Nyabinghi order. I went to an ISIS in Jamaica, earthquake, big up earthquake in Malvern, where they had all natural thing over the harps, but all of the harps bust during the, you know, that experiment never to work the greatest, you know. But that was a fully ital bingy, all, you know, the harps, them were the bass, everything had this material. He was trying it out, you know, but I know we can get hemp or something else, you know, designed the right way. So these are things that we have to let the ones know that the trad is not stagnant, just like His Majesty revised the Constitution. I can evolve the trad, you know, because even in the early days, I learned a lot of the Bingi elders used to eat fish. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I didn't know. I thought everybody was ital from the beginning, but there was a war even between the ital ones them and the ones who ate meat, and the ital ones them won, you know, in terms of now the Nyabinghi is fully associated with ital. You know what I mean? So that prevails. So that shows you, so we can evolve the trad, and our generation have our duty. So the trad in Nyabinghi in Atlanta. Was Midnight popular at this time when the I was treading, and did the I know Van Benjamin personally?
In Atlanta, around Bongo Headful, I left Atlanta in 95.
Mm-hmm.
In 95, I was not acquainted with Brother Vaughn as yet.
Okay.
In 95, I came home because of hardship. I lost that American job that I had, because on that Friday when I broke the fast on my Earth Day, it was prophesied to a 2-hour lunch break. My brethren Algie had just come from yard with some yard hob, and one draw didn't even finish the draw, just couple talks, and the brethren I sat back in the couch like, wow, till the 3 hours they pass, you know. And when I catch myself, I said, wow, it was a 2-hour break and it's 3 gone, and the brethren said, I go there for what? Yeah, I know they not have no work when they reach there, yeah, jokingly and laughing there, you know. But man was just worried about, well, we don't have to be in class, it's just a free up day, we're going to discuss So I man tried in how speed gone to the place and not thinking really and truly, not put on the oil, you know, visor me eye, me going there and as I coming out of the vehicle, walking from the parking lot to go in the building. The American leaders, them couple of them saw man, my team leader. At that time they was calling him man Tafari. At that time in high school, I took the name Tafari because something about the name, my brethren.
Yes.
The name they gave him man was a thing that I know coming up like I tell you, a revolutionary mentality for your born a Babylon name. Where Jackson come from? Jackson is the son of the slave Jackson. And you know, and it come down the line, man, the son of Jack and boy, so when I start to study what the name I man, Roberto in English it means Robert. Robert translation is old man.
Okay.
Yeah, you know. And then Jackson. So the youths them call I man Ras from Little League 12 and so that name stuck with me 13, 15. By the time I reach high school and the agitations of Rastafari and sipping that in high school, I took the name Tafari onto myself.
Okay.
And that's how I would try, you know. Didn't legally change my name, but in Atlanta, I would be called Tafari.
Yes.
And same way to while in Atlanta, and during that time, I was introduced to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Okay.
The Tauido. And I stepped into the church because I was ready at that time to try to Ethiopia to move. And I was trying to see about citizenship. And they said there's two ways, easy, marriage or baptized in the church. And I took the easiest way, which was baptized in the church. And I was going to church every Sunday. Now I was holding Sabbath mystically, just the spirit. I lived alone. Had no woman. When I moved to Atlanta, my queen I was dating in Tuskegee, she said, I am not want no bumpkin. If you're going to have them Congo thing and you ain't going to have pretty locks like Noah and all my children, it's not going to happen. And I man said, man, too much bashing I man, you know, down in I man, you know, because you there with I man for 3 years. You see I man born in Canada all the time is reggae music. You obviously know you there with a Rasta man and you just ain't seeing the buds them yet. But now I starting to lax up. Is this little chinky thing coming and I born in I man. Oh, she been to see Croix. She see my brother, my sister, all and then galaxy. Nah, you have to be pretty and so the father it was a sacrifice. That's what this life for Iman was, a sacrifice.
Yes,
if you really love Iman, you're gonna sacrifice that you love them.
So that sister that. was she African American sister or she was from the Caribbean?
African American, a mother born in Florida, in Miami. They're from the south. Her father was born from the Bahamas.
Okay.
So her grandmother was a Bahamian.
Okay.
So they had a little island vibe, but she was born in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
In those days, in Miami days, the music they was listening to and pounding everywhere was Luke Skywalker. Boom,
yes,
Luke Skywalker.
Yes. We talked about that with Rastas Jazanai Kush on that episode. Yes. We talked about she went to the same high school as Luke and the booming music. You know, we used to listen that as youths too. The big thing. So I
lived not too far from that same Northwestern high school. I lived in the same ghettos in Liberty City in the ghetto in Miami.
Liberty City, yeah man. Big up Liberty City.
The house wasn't too far around from where I lived at the Nyabinghi Center. I just never really knew Jazanaya and the house at that time. I didn't know Miami well. I was just going to school and met up with this sister, and my wall was really what she introduced Iman to.
Yeah. Basically, yes. So you're there. You got fired from your job because you showed up, eyes them red like a fire. You think of the herb and your leadership them see the eye and they say, boy, this
go
man
home.
Yeah.
Go home. Don't even come to the core. I don't want the core to see the eye. Go home. We will call the eye on Monday Tafari to let the eye know what's happening. I said, all right. I drove home and when I got in the house, I threw the keys on top of the TV and landed in the bed like this. Boom. Couldn't believe it, Aya. Couldn't believe it. The brethren says so. That's what they man. The brethren says so, Aya.
Prophecy.
Aya, I know from that time my man laid on about 3 o'clock. I didn't get up till about 3, 4 that morning. Pitch dark, the house in darkness. I turned on the light. And it came forward to Aya. That man send the eye home today, you know, Aya. So Monday come, my man call them, you know, that should I come in? No, Tafari. We set in a court hearing amongst the peers on Wednesday. So I go in there, they set a jury of my peers, you know, and the head of the AmeriCorps, and they're reading the charges. You remember the contract you signed in the beginning? It says no alcohol, no illegal substance, and you have to be clean. I said, yes, I remember. So what do you have to say about this here, Mr. Jackson? I said, well, I'm a Rasta man, and I really don't expect the eye to overstand. But the herb is my sacrament. You know, that is my sacrament. And it's not a drug. But they brought the contract to me. Is this your signature here? Is it? You remember the contract here? I say, yes, that's my signature.
They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear no Sacramental argument.
No, they said, but okay. I said, well, you know what? I overs the item, go ahead and do what you have to do. So they end up writing me a letter for a feature of my scholarship, my $10,000 scholarship that I got to pay my tuition. Because I didn't get no scholarship to go to the university there in Atlanta. I was coming on the team as a walk-on from the junior college. I had offers to sign my freshman year in college with a minor league team. And when I told my dad, he said, no, if they're looking at you already in minor league in your freshman year, it's going to get better by your sophomore year. And so I hold it off. I had offers in high school in Brooklyn. Many scouts came to the games, and my dad acted as my manager. He spoke.
Yes.
No, you're going to college. So I humbled. Or else I could have signed. If you asked me what I would have signed in high school.
Yeah.
So anyway, I realized that the AmeriCorps job is gone. I lived in the house paying rent out of my savings until I couldn't pay any more rent. And I turned to the brethren and said, I'm going to have to come up because I can't pay the rent no more. And I don't want to put you in any danger. So he said, no, man, let me find a good one you could share the place and split the bill, you know. And from college days, early in Miami, I learned roommates don't work with time, man. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
We have different liberties, and me as more serious kind of a youth. It don't work. So I tell him, well, no, man, another Yankee youth, nah, man. Me gone. But where you gonna go? I said the most I gonna deal with I. So I go where I could have gone to the West End, to the same brethren gates, corner houses. I go read the Bible from page 1. Anyway, me and that brethren became close. His family became my family. Yes. I ate at his house regular, like, yeah, a plate was there for I. Brethren, you know, my vehicle was like your vehicle now, you know? Yes, so the father did certain things to look after me, and Wizzy, enough high reasoning, him introduced I to the church. Okay. I went to church in his neighborhood behind the Nyabinghi house. I find serenity. No one told me about it. I went one day to buy herb in the project in the back there, and it was a shortcut from that street to bring me to the next street. And I passed through this wooded, bushy area, and I felt a vibes. And I went there the next time with the machete, clear out, I think, Bella Rock altar. And every morning, no one told me, the spirit commanded I would get up Saturday before the sunrise, 5 religiously, build a big jar, get my eyeball, and trod to this place here. Walk in the bush, light my frankincense and my rocks, and hold a meditation. The sun come up, give praises, and just kept quiet. Listen, read, glorify the Most High, and then would leave, you know. And I did this religiously. Every Sunday, go to the Orthodox church. Never overstood anything that was being said in the church. Never.
Just the frequency. Just there for the frequency and the vibration. Everything is done in Amharic. So I am just observing and bearing witness of the vibration. And I man stepped to
to the Abuna with a meditation. I would like to be baptized because the meditation I'm going to go to Ethiopia. So the Abuna said, come, he was going to allow me to study with him personally before you could be baptized. He told I, in such a case, you would always have a witness when you study with a one. But for this case, it's a one-on-one, which he said this is not normal. So I would go to his gates, eat a injera, veggie injera, and, sip up with him and go into the prophecy. So he's reading to Ayman in English, and I'm reading. I have my prophecy reading, and we're going through Genesis. A couple things that's foundation in the Orthodox Church. The creation, birth, Genesis, the birth of Jesus Christus, Miriam, virginity of her birth, immaculate birth, the crucifixion of Jesus Christus, the resurrection of Jesus Christus. This is the foundation of it, the resurrection of it. So I studying with him, and he's reading and he's going through on Jesus Christ and Haile Selassie first. Lord Jesus Christ, Haile Selassie first. Imagine Islamists, why do you do that? I said, what do you mean? He said, you say Haile Selassie first every time I say Jesus Christ. I said, well, because Haile Selassie first my savior. That's my idea, man. He said, oh, you Rastas, why you Rastas do that? You reggae music and you ganja. That's all you Rastas do. What you do is abomination. That's no. I said, now it gets tense now in the room, me and him.
Yes.
How do I say that's an abomination? He said, Haile Selassie, the greatest king of Ethiopia ever had. I sat on his lap as a child. How could you say he's God? How? I said, well, look at it this way here. I never been to Ethiopia. We've never seen His Majesty. Yet still we hold Ethiopia so glorious and His Majesty a joy in our heart. It's the Spirit that did that. When His Majesty was crowned in Ethiopia 1930, the Spirit came to the Caribbean for us. And He redeemed us. He called us. And the Spirit is who brought us this knowledge of His Majesty and Ethiopia. And if you can find joy in His Majesty as the greatest king, then allow me to hold a joy too. For I have never been Ethiopia. I've never seen His Majesty like that, but yet still I love it. So allow me to hold a joy like you can remember. And we found that balance to like, okay, His Majesty is
okay.
Then he said, in Atlanta, you Rastas are the only one with red, gold, and green Ethiopia flag. You more Ethiopian than the Ethiopians themselves. They want to dress in suit and tie, put down the original traditional wear, and you Rastas pick it up. I say, yes, so allow us to hold the joy. At that time,
the Irids, treading through flesh.
Man, at that time, him get up, went in his room, come forward in the living room with this mascot, put it in my hand, and he said, this belongs to your king. And I said, He said, yes. And, I gave it forward to him. And we continue with the studies. And we did that for at least a month, studying one-on-one. I go to church every Sunday until the studies was coming to an end. He said, I have a special instrument for you. That have to go. That thing have to go. A special instrument for you. I said, man, you're not... If that have to go, me not need to be baptized. We friends now, me not need to be baptized. I am tall, man. So him anointed I man 3 occasions, 3 sacred occasions. He had a vision one night after we studied. He started asking me about my family, where I'm from,
Yes.
So we got close, and we reasoned. And one night he woke up the next day and called me and said, in my night vision, in my dreams, your king, he visited me. And he told me, don't touch you. Don't touch you. Just baptize you and allow you to go. So I set a date for you, and I I wouldn't mess with you. You know, I baptize you, and before that I give you holy anointing. Like he told me, give you anointing like you read in the Bible of King David and Solomon. I anoint you like that. So I took off all my clothes. He anointed my sacred areas of my body. And then he had a vision again. He said, if you need to return to where you come from, to your family. And if you go and teach them what you know, this mascal will find you. And I said to myself, I really think I used to go out for me to tell them about Jesus Christ. This is the my meditation. Because he's telling me about Jesus Christ, you know, everything. Jesus Christ, and he's Savior of the world. But the Rasta meditation, but it was the irates. It was to tell them the truth of His Majesty, the fulfillment of the prophecy, the revelation, you know. So he gave I a mascal. I never really checked for crosses from young, you know. And he gave I a mascal made out of leather and with a leather strap on. I man didn't check for the crash fight, so I man take it off the thing and say, well, I man will dread it up, man. Ice gold and green and black, man. Now it's a Rasta vibration. Put it on, you know. And took my brethren youths to the pool on a Saturday, and while in the pool with the youths them, the youth came up and grabbed onto I man neck to hold on, and everything bust, you know. So him went down to the pool, come up with the leather cross. I said, well, you see Tafari, I tell you the cross, I tell the eye about the cross, the eye die for the eye. So I fight about the cross, you know. So I ended up getting baptized. After baptism, they tried to dress I with the royal capes, garments, and put a crown, but the crown couldn't fit on my head because I had a crown already. It couldn't just fit at all. So I asked the eye to go up and reason in front of the congregation, you know, family of the church. So he called I forward. The congregation saw me get baptized in front of them, and short story, I just let them know we are Ethiopians. Many of our thousands across the waters in the Caribbean where they have taken our ancestors in slavery, and we love Ethiopia, and there are many of us want to return home, and we are one people. We're not Ferengies. We are one people, and you know, went to have a seat, and the message the Abba Gabri Mascal came with was fire. All in Amharic, fire. That after the service, we went down where we break bread and eat and drink with the congregation, and I can remember asking a sister, sis, tell her what Abba was saying today. It was, you know, it was intense. And she said, yes, Abba was telling the congregation they're moving like Babylonians. They're moving like the Westerners. They throw down their culture to dress like Americans to church instead of the cultural garbs. And it's a shame we're losing our culture. And the mystics of Rastafari in his presence, and it was touching him, you know. Wow, Ethiopians,
yes.
Babylonians, man, they're losing their culture. And here it is, Rasta is picking it up, you know. So after that service, the congregation hosted him. Stop pay his rent, stop buy his grocery, don't come to no church to hear you no more. So after that, month passed, going on the second month, pay rent not paid, grocery is very low. He reached out to the Rastafari community for assistance, you know. Now, at this time, I had already was in living on the moving from here to here because I couldn't pay my rent. I ended up going to my brethren in the West End. After I spent 3 nights there, the house seemed tense. Just tense. You know, your brethren is your brethren until you really get in close quarters and you see everything. You see everything.
Yeah, eat up the food, you know. Yeah, eat up the food.
Rastafari.
Smoke herb, you know. You look sad. Brethren have time for all of that. You know what I mean? Right now, you have to look at work or something.
The brethren say, me I go reason with the Horman Algae, you know. Me I reason with Ras Algae and see me can put you up in one of them places, you know. I said, well, it was so tense when the Sabbath came. Then first 3 lights there. When the Friday evening come, I tell the queen of the house, sis, you could drop her out in the wilderness, and control the keys for the vehicle and pick her forward up after the Sabbath and the Sunday, She said, Brother Tafari, but where are you going to go? How are you going to manage? I said, well, in my heavens, I said, I listen, Lassie Force will guide I man, So I turned to the brethren now. Brethren are going to sit out and, fast and camp out, All this time the brethren had documents they always spoke about, never really opened up to share it. It was like a griot teaching I man, oral traditions, catch it, listen, or else you miss it. Never give me something to study on. That's the first time when I told him again in the wilderness that Friday before about so he bring a thing of information, documents. Yes, I was like, what? Give thanks, So I took his documents, the prophecy, a gallon bottle, a ice full water, and herbs, paper and fire, and a sleeping bag. And dropped her out in a park, Tell her go on with the keys, pick her here forward the Sunday. So Friday, sun had done setting and looking to get dark. They spread out my sleeping bag. Because I not walk too far and you know where I go. And sat up on the sleeping bag, put on my gallon bottle on one side of the sleeping bag, prophecy on the next side to corner it down from the wind and under the moon stars and the moon and the stars and the dew falling. And about after a couple hours, a bunch of ants there on me, like, what is this, man? Time to move out. Shake that off, man. Take a little walk down and flip it out again and set up, and rest early that night too. Got up real early, break of dawn, and could see now. So I start to walk and trot down by a creek where it had like a cabana, table and bench and a little running brook there, So I was like, mystical, man. Didn't know that was here and put down my documents, wash up by the creek, After I don't wash up and so say my prayers now and bill a draw, set up myself now with the Sabbath day, get the information and as I open up the book, may I tell you I straight as me open up the book, say a prayer. As I seal up the prayer, big bumblebee, yellow and black, ice gold and green, me seen in it too. Land and the book and the information what me I read. And then did a 360. Walk on my hand, come wrong, 360, and as he complete, fly off. I said, mystical. I just, because in them time, being alone for such a long time, away from family, everything was like mystics to I. The Father speak to I in every way. The wind blows so hard, it's the Father. Because what I thinking in my head, he communicating with I, man. That's how I used to hold in meditation. The Father is everywhere in communication. If you want to open up. Even through people reasoning too,
Yes,
so, I man overstanding what going on. And so in this Iowa now, in the mystics, I started to take in the information and sip it now. And the real knowledge of that experience was information to the Kabbalah.
Okay.
And the Kabbalah real teaching was know thyself, your family tree. And in your family tree, it will bring you into the I self. Because your parents, your grandparents, they instill the I with certain knowledge, certain culture embedded in the I. Your spiritual makeup that came from them too. And then their vision of what they saw intentions for you to be compared to what the I is of the spirit that led the I. And these different worlds from your father, your mother, these experiences what make the I too. And so this was the learning I was learning from studying at the time. And it was a study, the more you got into it, the spirit will lead the I in the knowledge of it and reveal to the I. This was the mystics of the Melchizedek order. This was what I was learning. King, priest, and prophet in one iron pole. Not as the Bobo would teach it, king, priest, and a prophet, but king, priest, and prophet lies in an iron pole himself.
Inside the fullness, Memphis Kedos.
Yes, I carry the spirit and the characteristics of king, priest, and prophet. As a king, you must lead your family and govern them. As a priest, because I must lead them into spiritual prayers for guidance and blessings. And a prophet, because through the prophecy and the eye, the Father reveal a lot of things to the eye, that the eye share, that they may not see it, but come to see it then after. So I saw these knowledge coming, and this was what was being shared of Melchizedek anciency.
I love how you break down the order. We have 22 ample. We've been doing this for 2 hours already. The reasoning so sweet. Family, we're going to do a little bit of overtime because we don't touch enough topics. If you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. This is the Lion Voice Network. We are talking to Tafari Tzaddi, one of the frontline workers down in St. Croix. We've gone through the brethren history, how we chatted into Rastafari, coming up into the Atlanta Nyabinghi house, how he came into the knowledge of himself. We're going to lead into how he returned to St. Croix, how we met his beautiful queen, and all of these things, family life. So subscribe. We're going to do another probably like a half hour. So give us some extension, but the reasoning sweet. We're going to talk about, I'm going to be going to St. Croix. I'm taking the Lion Voice to St. Croix. So we're going to have some exclusive interviews in St. Croix, exclusive footage coming from the Rastafari entity that is being planned in St. Croix right here. So make sure if you're not locked in, you lock in right now. Subscribe. Tafari is the one who invited I. Other ones have been invited. It's going to be a historic gathering. The Lion Voice Network will be there in St. Croix. I want to find out from the eye. No, you're basically you're homeless. You trot out to the wilderness. You know, what was the next fullness before the eye returned home to St. Croix?
Well, after that day in the wilderness and that fast, when I returned and was picked up on the Sunday, my brethren told me he made reservations for Iman to stay in the Herb Gates. So I lived in the Herb Gates, sleeping in the living room while I was studying with the monk. And he revealing certain things to I that I need to go home. From that Herb Gates, I went to another Herb Gates to establish this gates here for the same ample I was managing and running things. While in Olympian Avenue over there, at that Herb Gates, a hurricane came to St. Croix.
Okay.
That night, and then the same hurricane came up to Atlanta, but it wasn't so strong, just a lot of wind and rain. And that night, I man stayed up, fasted, and in the heights again to sit up in the heights. And the vision that came to Iman was, I need to leave Atlanta now, and come home. The mother need the I now. That morning, when I got up, I went to rest about 5, 6. Got up about 9 to a phone call. It was the brethren who run the Herb Gates. One of his sisters called her, he squeezed them, and she said, well, Brother Tafari, I still to go to St. Croix? Because I seeing the situation, the monk uttered the song that I should return. I put it out, I would really like to trot home, At that time, in the Herb Gates, man was walking in the gates and wasn't really getting a physical dollars a pay. But had a place over my head. The fridge was full with food. Herb was always in abundance. The gas had carrying it. So I guess man felt like, well, my brethren who was working in the Herb Gates, he was getting a paid every Friday, but man meditation was, I guess, if I was young full, I have a place to stay. I was.
You're exchanging your work for the room and board.
Yes, King. Yes. Until well, that's how man felt, even though reasoning will come up. How much do I get paid, Tafari, when I start to IDT? But man don't get paid like that, So anyway, that man in the data call, man, hey Brother Tafari, I still got to St. Croix. But the whole night, my vision and reasoning in prayer was, I need to go to St. Croix now as soon as possible. So when she said, I said, yes, How you mean? She said, but when would I like to try it? I said, right away. If it could happen today, it will be great. She said, well, let me reason up with the brethren and see how we could get a ticket for the iron. So the ticket was set for the next day. The brethren put 500 US in my hand. I left everything behind, trumpet, CDs, I name it. I just took my information, my paperwork of His Majesty, my eyeball, a couple clothes, and I was out of there. I left my Honda Civic behind, and yes, and it was like this. When I'm off, I'm working the hub gates, and the next brethren is working. I would be there because I live there. Once we come in, and So anyway, I mantra at home now. 3 days after I get a phone call from the brethren, yeah. The I lucky, the I home, the I know said the inner got mash up in the hub gates, man. This brethren coming to check him, man. A gunman behind of him, man. Then beat him up, man. Him in the hospital. They take everything out, out the safe. And
Wow.
yeah, he's a lucky youth, my son. So I started to say, like, what? If I'd been there, it could have been different. It might have been, could have get more serious then, because it's two of I and I in the house. We not might have got on so easily,
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
I started to say give thanks. I returned in 95 to St. Croix.
So His Majesty moved there from the snare of the fowler.
Yes, sir.
Give thanks. And these stories are abundant in Rastafari. I'm telling there's a brethren, Ras Abdul in New York. He was in the Twin Tower 9/11 and was able to get out of the Twin Towers. I mean, when you reason with brethren who listening to the spirit or the irates, you find out that they escape danger, or His Majesty tell them to do something and they escape the danger. So what was St. Croix like when you returned in 95? Was midnight prevalent them time? Did they come out by that time?
In 95, no. Midnight probably was in the America area, perhaps DC area.
Yes, they were in
midnight
DC.
really bust like around 99. 2000
Okay.
midnight really bust. Return home, and Polish came out, I think, around 99, 2000.
Okay.
When I came home in 95, I met my queen and I went and sussed out the Nyabinghi house, which was a house just starting to grow, just to be established. 97, we built the tabernacle and we brought in the ancients from Jamaica. Real outstanding ancients, headed up by Bongo Watu Rasbono G's,
Yes,
Bongo Rakai, Data
Yes,
Baby I.
Yes, legendary.
Bongo Tani.
Yes, legendary.
By Bongo Strong, Bongo Erman, Data Dean, Data Baby I, Data Maureen, about Ras Ibai. Yes, man, about 9 strong impulse and angels came in strong. Had a 3 light ISIS, ones from DC came in, ones from far as California came in, the whole Caribbean came in. I met enough angels, Bongo Wisely at that time, Barbados came in, Mama Sheba, enough ones from Lucia, enough ones from Dudley, I name it, the Caribbean came in. Powerful reasoning, 97. At the seal up of the 3 light eyes is mystical too. In them days, I used to travel with a big rod and some kung fu shoes, karate shoes. I used to fast regular. Fasting was a regular thing from the Atlanta days. When I got here, I was treading in that kind of a fire, I came with prophecy. I come with vibes. I come with the prophet, the prayer chart from every day of the Bible. I introduced that to the same races that I was looking up to as a young youth. I returned to my community, and these races was like one in particular who introduced me to the Nyabinghi in his yard, and his mom was he just gobbled me up like, I go home for every Saturday morning, let's go to the waterfalls and make sure you walk with them paperwork, them documents. Make sure you walk with them documents. So he was demanding, let me get one of everything. That was his energy. Like, I come with a light tire, I come with irates. I carry an energy. Yes, man. Him was one
and ones don't realize that when you trod Rastafari in America, sometimes you become more militant than even in the Caribbean, because they have the nice nature and them highland and them, here you're really in that militancy or war kind of vibes, and you read and you study, because you don't really have all of the beauty and nature for distract you from, you know, the study. So a lot of time I come in very militant, even more in terms of the knowledge and wanting progress and things to change than even our brethren and sistren in the Caribbean, because let's be honest, the Caribbean is paradise, you know what I mean? So you don't have that much incentive to change if you have fresh jelly water, you have nice fruits and nice sun, and you have good accommodation. That fire to repatriate and these things is not as strong, because you live in a paradise. You say you can walk in the water, see your toes, them in the turquoise water, you know, pretty like a postcard. You know, it's hard, and people who are not in the Caribbean have to overstand that. We give thanks that the Caribbean is now part of the AU through the African Union, the 6th region, so we can start claim these islands as satellites of the continent. But you know, it's hard. So I went forward. You bring the militancy now. Now what's going on in terms of, was Batch and them on the road at that time doing music?
This is 97, and Nyabinghi house is established. I think Batch them came home around 99, 2000, around that.
Okay. So the music is 2000 when it really...
yes, everything really was from that 2000.
This is Nyabinghi. Yes, this is Nyabinghi time. The Nyabinghi is flourishing late 90s.
Yes, sir. 97, when the ancients came in from Yard. Yeah. The St. Thomas Nyabinghi house came with a huge allegation from next door. We had the Congress lady there. We had senators there at our big open house reasoning gathering. Wow. And some kind of things kick off with the Bobo house and the Nyabinghi house. The gathering filled with diplomats. A vice came like he was, tell them about the Sabbath day, and tell them about the Emmanuel, and you know, Bonogis uttered, and Congo Rakai uttered, and it was like a contention that a lot of ones the diplomats moved out slowly out of it wasn't too island to iron.
Yeah.
They did use iron gathering as a platform to try to the flag, tell them about the flag to bring difference up that they felt needed to be brought up at the wrong occasion. We had an in-house reasoning plan the next day for those things to be reasoned, not at the public gathering, you know.
Yes,
but anyway, things happen a certain way. When they trading in those days, I tell you with my rod, I was trading from that time. I had met my queen. I had on my karate shoes. The land was just cleared, and a kasha did chuck up into me toe through the karate shoes. And the third light of the seal up, when the eyes is seal up that man in there. I could remember sitting under the tree, and that a baby I came to I man, asked I for a Rizla, and sat next to I. And as I got up to get the Rizla out of my pants pocket, the splinter of the kasha in my toe popped out from the pressure when I went to get it. This was 3 days it been in there, so a little kind of pus was starting. It popped out here, and I said mystically, because I could have feel it hot in me, and I said, "What mystical? Yeah, gosh, I jump out of the sea." What? So, yeah, man, the ancients them stayed with us for a little couple days after the gathering too. Yes, that yes. Remained for a month or two extra to start Amharic classes. And I was given a charge when they seal up. Ras Tafari called for the older ones of the house, but they was not there. But I was there, and he said, "But where is that mighty angel Tafari?" And I was at the right there sitting at the corner. And he said, "Yes, man, the item have to keep the house going. You have to keep the knowledge of the Nyabinghi, keep the community in up knowing of this strat here, you know." Okay. A charge was put onto I. Make sure the community is aware and keep the house going.
Okay.
We sealed up. Bongo Watu was very powerful just in the mystics, and get to reason with him. I really respected his strat and the journey, listening to the testimonies of each of the ancients. Ivy left a great impression upon I, man. Yes, very well spoken, Congo
He's
Rakai and
been on this
Tata
channel
Papia.
too. He's been on this channel, and I met Bongo Rocky in Shashamani. So, you
Yes.
know, great impulse and
Yes.
warriors on the chart. So, talk to I and I about what is the current state of well before that, because I know Lion Pride.
Let me share another serious chapter again.
Yes,
I left
yes.
St. Croix Nyabinghi house and went to ATL again.
Okay.
And joined the Nyabinghi house again in ATL. At this time, I started trading up in the caucus bag, in the sackcloth.
Okay, so you were part of that. What year was that?
I started trading up in sackcloth in 1998, shortly after the house was developed. I had a couple of youths from ATL came here that was trying to run from one thing and came into another thing there, you know.
So they used to trade with Ayesos and them man there.
I had a bongo
Ayasu.
loop. Yes, Yasu. Yes, I know them man. Bongo Ras Jabari, Bongo
Jabari.
Isif,
Yes.
Isis too.
Yes.
Man. All these ones make. Yes, I.
Yeah, man.
So like
I know
said,
the ones them. I know the ones.
We take up the sackcloth trad.
Yes, I remember them. I remember that was I started chad like about 98, you know. So I remember when the brethren used to come to DC, the sackcloth, they burning Jah, Haile Selassie first, you know, and every chant they have to put Haile Selassie first, you know what I mean? And
well, that's how it's still this day, still, you know, see.
Yes, sir.
Yes, but it was powerful because at that time I had given up my job. I was working at a rehabilitation center, working a beautiful job, man, 11 to 7, dealing with the youth counseling, and you know, every Nyabinghi ISIS I'm there because they know say any ISIS don't book I man to work because they know what time it is. So things were set in a way. You know, I had a second job in a health store, and the minute I start tried up in a sackcloth, one star watch, yeah, you okay? Did I smoking crack? Yeah, you know, and then me the sackcloth in them days was like, you know, them caucus bag where rice and things coming, the sack itself, man, the scratchy thing there.
I lived through that period, fireman. Like me said, me used to remember when the Atlanta man come in at the sackcloth. And
that was sweet times, man. That was the sweet days. By the time I reached ATL in the sackcloth, we was a boss in making these caucus back now. We had linen in the inside for winter, coats and so out of the burlap material, and we took it to another level.
Yeah, man. Fiery. The item were very fiery. That's man, one thing. And there were a lot of sisters in the Bingy house them time. There were a lot of sisters in the Atlanta Bingy house them time. Atlanta had a very strong, Atlanta had a very, you know, we used to admire the item. Because the sister and them used to chant till morning, you know. The sister and them were militant, Sister Aymara.
Yes, sister, you know, bless your heart, Sister Aymara. Love to the eye.
Yes.
I stayed with Aymara, me and my family for 6 months when I first got to Covington. I'm in Atlanta.
Okay.
We came in for the July.
So there I know Bingy Sean.
Yes, man, Bingy Sean came into Atlanta in Covington for ISIS. That was a fiery ISIS, I know, man. What an experience when they heard what was coming out. Fire Bonja! You know, nothing got melted in the fire, man. Watch it for your business, though, you know. The economy about to crash right now, man. Man, a lot of things got melted, but they needed edification more than anything.
Yes,
that was a
period. That was a period. We have to write that story, and we have to. That's a whole separate topic. We've gone over 2 hours. I want to be respectful. Bring us to the brethren from the Lion Pride ask about midnight. When how did they encounter midnight? What was the impact of midnight in St. Croix? Let's just, you know, the ones. And if you have any questions, put your questions in the comment section so we can make it interactive the last half hour as we seal up. So put your questions in the comments. Tell us about midnight and the impact of the music, because St. Croix put its own stamp on reggae music. Yes, Jamaica is the foundation, but St. Croix really created a stamp that continues to this day.
Well, when I left ATL, it was 2001. So from 99 to 2001 was in ATL with the ATL family. That was the most, one of the greatest time in the Nyabinghi family trading I did. The close knit of, like I said, sistrings with youths. I had my youth said way too, was young.
Yes.
That close knit on Edgewood, 365 Edgewood Avenue. I name it Sabbath gathering till
Yes.
Sunday morning. The house majority was raw food eating, not cooked food. That was the meditation we was riding. Every Tuesday was food pickup from from the farmers market. We did a co-op shop and then distributed on Tuesday, which was also Bible and prophecy and His Majesty study night. So we had a routine.
Nice.
There is where we did the soccer summer program with the youth that led right into Bingishan community garden that end up going straight into the works. All it was, I remember all these days. And so anyway, leaving the ATL at 2001 because it was looking at the meltdown of 2000. The whole talk of Judgment Day, you know. So we was looking for Ethiopia. That's why I came. Yes, I came to ATL because some of the brethren that was traveling in the sackcloth was living out in the mountains in the VI, and things got a little way, and one brethren bus off to ATL and tell him, man, Tafari, everything is set, you know, the hub runnings is up. Ethiopia is nearby. I need a fireman like the I bring the family, man. I'm getting some challenges with the Bingi house here, you know, with the burning of Jah and sorting war songs. Come, man, and the funds gonna be there to go Ethiopia. So with that message, I pack up all I goods, because after I lost the job in St. Croix, I started to make noni products, trading in the sackcloth, noni oil, noni juice, noni rub. That was the health product moving at the time. So I was riding the wave. Came up to ATL with enough products. But the brethren was, again, we was in the hub gates and things were happening. And again, I man saw where things, the house was strong, but things still fell apart in the internal house as economics goes, because of my stance same way and certain movements eye to eye. So I end up moving out and going into another region with my family in the ghettos and upholding the house, and was getting a lot of feed forward from the house, you know. Fireborn priest. Yeah. When we leading up prayers and time to seal up, someone have to take charge, and all of us were all of us trying up Jabbar. We young races coming up, you know. They really have an elder of the house besides Bongo Isif, you know. So the spirit have to lead us to who gonna make sure things go in order. So the spirit led and man sends envy and jealousy in certain areas and certain things. Money was flowing, but yet still I were left out of the loop said way too. So I decided to pick up. The father said, time to return home. The family didn't want to leave because they loved the close-knit band of the Nyabinghi family, the sister, so much youths.
Yes.
But
that was a heyday.
They didn't want to leave. They didn't want to leave.
Yeah, that was a heyday, you know, in Rastafari. DC was strong them time there too. Brooklyn was strong them time there too.
Yes,
you know, Harlem, New Orleans had a big house them time there too. You know, that was probably the golden era for the Nyabinghi in America. You know, that little period right there.
And not for the ancients from Yard in America.
That is why.
In certain key places holding it together.
That is why. And we had the biggest concentration in DC. You know what I mean? That is, you know, Iman uprising. We were blessed. That's why we never went into the Jawar, because we had so many Asians. So we couldn't really bunja, or it would have created, you know, a conflict. We had 1 and 2 man, you know, get into it with the Asians. But for the most part, we were very respectful, you know. But we
now here we go to midnight now. Watch ya now.
Okay,
when we returned in 2001 to St. Croix, midnight was on the move already. Like I said, unpolished. Midnight return. The reggae music had now found a new mecca in the VI. Man like Batch, Ras Attitude, the Zioneers. These were ones that was bringing out these message here, you know. Powerful roots music, and midnight was touring said way too. me and Batch became brethren, and he came into the Nyabinghi house with his family, and hailing Haile Selassie first was the utmost. We had put Jah aside because a meditation came in the Sakla time in. Much man are saying Jah, 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 but when we reason them don't call Haile Selassie for them. Say, no, that's not Jah. And we started to say, wait, no, man, this is a problem, man. That man singing Jah, Jah, and the man was telling, no, they're not Haile Selassie. You get it wrong, no, man.
Yes.
So we said, no, man, there have to be a clear crystal. When you say Haile Selassie first, the whole world know who you're talking about.
Yes.
And then we start to study the history of the name and the progression of the ascension to the throne.
Yes.
With Bongo Watu was, he moves Jah aside, and he was Haile Selassie, King Rastafari, and that wasn't sitting to Isla, because he was taking this back down to the we ascended to the throne in height, so we now go down to Negos again. We have to keep rising up.
Yes.
So this was I meditation. No, we can't go King Haile Selassie first is the highest name we're gonna go to. You can't go no higher. So hold that name. And I man saw from that and the salute from 97, the whole island start to feed off of this man that salute the eye. Batch come into the house and is Haile Selassie first. The next thing you know, Batch songs them is Haile Selassie the first. No other artist in Jamaica was saying Haile Selassie first.
Okay.
Wahine came out with I love King Selassie. I love King Selassie. That was one of the first songs where you're hearing Selassie being uttered, not Haile Selassie, King Selassie.
Yes.
But from the VI, especially Batch was one of the first artists come out with Haile Selassie the first.
What year are we talking about here?
Because early 2000s,
Because Sizzla Kalonji in the late 90s was uttering some Haile Selassie sound too. Guide over us, Emperor Selassie. You understand? Sizzla did touch it. Anthony B. That wave was coming up. Garnet Silk, Christ in his kingly character.
But that never Haile Selassie first.
Yes.
Not Haile Selassie first.
So you're saying, right now, hold on, Lion Pride, hold on, because Tafari is saying, VI launch Haile Selassie the first in the music. Drop a comment. If this is the overstanding, him said Jamaica never reached there. So we were saying Haile Selassie. This is exclusive. We touch it. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. This is the power, because I can't lie. I was in DC. I never met Von when he was here in DC, but I would hear midnight, because them time there, to be honest, we dash for music. We were Nyabinghi, every Saturday, Sabbath. So we weren't going to clubs. We weren't doing none of, the whole reggae. Even before I was an artist, But when I went into the Bingy house for a little time, we kind of weren't dealing with no music. And then we started to do music, our own music, at Rastafari gatherings and stuff like that. But we weren't going. So even when Midnight Rose in DC, I never experienced them in DC, them time there, I met Von in Atlanta at Rallock, him got a chance to seat up and reason up, and I could say that this was a special brethren, mystical brethren, stay up all night in the Bingy. Cause I judge people from the Nyabinghi too, cause I watch how you move in the Bingy when you say you're a Bingy man. Do you come and just looking at the eyes? Are you chanting? Can you hold the funde, the kete, the repeater? You drop asleep, you get weary quickly. You can't. These are the things when Bingy man know Bingy man. When we in the eyes, can you administrate? Because that's how we learn in DC. Every man is a priest. Every man's supposed to be able to administrate all of the position. Every man supposed to can pay bass, funde, kete. Every man supposed to can utter psalms. Every man supposed to can fire key. We learn the psalms, the creed. Every man supposed to know that without having to read it from the book. That's how I man train in the order. And we took that serious, you know, go home and recite it till we know blessed is the man that standeth within the counsel of the ungodly, you know, all of them things there, you know, behold how good and how pleasant it is, you know, and I feet shall stand within their gates, you know, all of them psalms that we had to learn them. So I missed the midnight, you know, is after he left and went forward to St. Croix now, that explosion where everybody are talk about midnight now, the youths them are talk about midnight. We're hearing this different, it was roots, but it was different than Jamaica roots. But it was roots, you know. So how did that impact St. Croix?
Well, when I met Midnight in the early 2000s and so, like I said, he was living in what we call Freedom City in the West, Frederickstead area. And I man come from Freedom City.
Okay.
And I did a ministry work in the prison for about 15 years, going in the Sabbath to the United Rastafari Brotherhood and held the Sabbath and kept cultural days, events there, agitate for their rights and things like that. And Midnight would come in the prison every chance he get when he's in town and sit up with the house and go through the Sabbath with us. So we became acquainted. He chant up Isis with us, touch prophecy with us. He often would bring books to share and give to the brethren in their CDs. And we came to know each other from, like I said, meeting him in the prison. When we meet out in the community, we'd always hail each other. And by the fish market and so, where one sit up and reason up and so. Times we would stop in and take in the reasoning, but the island is very, very small and very small. So therefore, when you try in Rastafari, you're going to buck up with ones a lot of time and the reasoning is going to take place and you get to know who is who. And what made Midnight so different is several things made him different. The rhythm of the music was a slow one-drop music.
Yes.
To bring the eye forward to the old one drop of the Mali roots. And even took it to a tempo a little slower than that original one drop that we're accustomed to.
Yes.
And that what that does, it kind of puts you in a trance a little bit, like the Nyabinghi would do. And Midnight also, what made him unique is he's a people, love to reason, and he would make time, especially after shows or any chance you get to reason with the people. Never in a rush, always willing to reason. Where a lot of people is more on the hype of big artists, you know, big artists, man. Big caravan, and you know how them go on, you know. Big room full of food and all kind of party vibes. Midnight don't roll like that, you know. Midnight just roll with his band and you know party after the show night and no big adorbs, nothing. We return to the hotel quietly and we humble till the next day, you know. Them kind of style. You ain't gonna meet us clubbing after and partying with the late. Different. A lot of yard artists do things different said ways. More a different lifestyle, yeah, you know.
Yes.
This
The
was
reggae
very
mansion. We're going to deal with them shortly, you know. But
very different. So the promoters testify. Midnight, they don't do those things. They're different. No, don't bring those things here. Very different. And promoters talk. They carry the word. So they start to differentiate quickly the VI music from the Jamaican music. You see, the ones from the VI move a certain way. They don't interact with certain things and they don't do certain things.
Militant. You know? They're moving militant.
Is she? Yes, sir. That vibration. Now, what make the place so militant too? Again, the history of the place, the rebellion and slave rebellions, the emancipation in 1848. General Bodo, who led the emancipation that all slaves are now free, the proclamation of freedom without one bullet fired. I see not one bloodshed, but he masterminded this redemption. And 30 years later, then the place get burned down by Queen Mary them because of unfair labor acts. Labor acts. You check it out. Unfair contracts. So now we burn down the whole plantation then. So this is in, this is in the 1878. 30 years after
Serious
emancipation of
history.
1848.
Serious history.
Yes, that is embedded. So the people them got a fire in them, you know, like, yeah, don't play with we now, don't play with we now. When we ready, we will have no rubber, son. When they had Fountain Valley revolt against, when I tell you, Leon Hess them came in St. Croix,
Yes.
in the 70s, and Rockefellers, the Fountain Valley rebellion, where several tourists lost their life and send the place in a kind of uproar, ran out a lot of the millionaires out of the island, you know, people left big house and ran out. So it had a stigma of St. Croix itself.
St. Croix.
Right.
So the item share that with Jamaica, that rebel spirit,
Yes.
that, you know, because Jamaica was known for the rebellions, of course, you know, Taki Sam Sharp, Paul Boga, you know, we have a whole heap of rebellions, Bookman coming out of Jamaica and things. So that explains the militancy. There's a history of where in Africa do most St. Croix people come from? Is it Ghana
Most of
as
them,
well?
yes, Ghana, Gambia, you know, said way to a lot of Viana came out of Ethiopia, and the ships as the book of Isaiah, same way as servants and prophets and ambassadors of the Most High.
Okay.
To keep Viana people in remembrance. So even in the plantation, His Majesty had his prophets and his ambassadors there.
Yes.
To keep us in remembrance of who we are. So a baton was being passed all through them ancient time, whether you didn't see the locks, but it's the consciousness of remember who you are. Because if you remember who you are, yes, sir, you will return.
So go ahead.
A lot of works midnight did with I and I too. Through the Nyabinghi house, we did a lot of community events.
Okay.
We would hold ISIS and then also have a day for the community to taste the vibration and feel the Rastafari. So a lot of musical events would take place. Enough artists, Midnight, Pressure, Batch, Attitude, Mother Nile, Danny I. All these artists will full take.
What about sister named Desiree? Because that's one of my favorite artists.
Well, Sister Desiree is a very strong angel, said, where she has done several works with the Nyabinghi house, Empress Men in Day gatherings.
Is she from St. Croix as well? She's from.
I don't think Desiree was born in St. Croix. I know she spent some time in the ATL, but she was raised here, you know. She could be born here too in St. Croix. That's something I need to look into. But I know she was really, her roots, she was raised here too.
Yeah, one of my favorite artists. That them early albums, I still run them, you know.
And all the artists them I could think of and the VI have worked with the Nyabinghi house in the community.
Give thanks.
To give themselves.
We're coming on to 3 hours. I have to bring the eye forward because the reasoning too sweet. I tell the eye the reasoning sweet. Talk to us about what's gonna happen for Coronation. The eye flying I in to do some work. We're bringing the Lion Voice Network. Tell the people what is gonna happen, and just run us through the plans that the IDM have been doing. I've been in touch with Ras Attitude, who is I family. Him say Tafari not spear, no, you know, the man I work diligently, the thing I come, you know. So tell the ones, the Lion Pride, maybe the ones who are watching this, who will watch this after, the hundreds of people, what's happening in St. Croix for the Coronation.
Well, give thanks through the inspiration of the Most High, the 93rd anniversary of the Grand Coronation of His Majesties. And I, through the inspiration, see, well, it's a trumpet song that unity is the accepted goal, and the Pan-African movement must stay alive and be passed on that knowledge to the next generation. And so we put out a trumpet song for a gathering. I'm the president of the VI Rastafari Sacramental Cannabis Council, which was formed in 2018. Same way too. Since battling the cannabis fight, the good fight, we have been able to move legislation now that the sacrament is now written on the books that Rastafari is acknowledged to have their sacramental rights.
Okay.
They have now have
Okay.
medical rights and recreational. The recreational has been put to be amended by the legislature before it could be implemented into law.
Okay.
Right now, for I and I, sacramental rights has always been a given from the time the Human Declaration did grant I and I Religious Freedom Restoration Act. At
Yes.
such time, that was given on the books for all of I and I,
Yes,
all
sir.
spiritual entities that use the herb as part of the cultural tradition. America has been violating I and I rights because they have not been upholding the Declaration of Human Rights to protect I and I wherever we are located in the earth. So that's a lawsuit for such a time.
Yes, sir.
We have been violated over and over here in the Virgin Islands by helicopters that tormented us day, regular, come and break in and take your herbs and do what they want with it. Captains and all of them smoke the best herb and then put it on the street and use that a last, you know. So it became a time when you see them coming and they coming for it, better I go take it before you take it then. Yeah, I see it because after a while, they wasn't arresting you, just trying to economically keep you down.
Keep it down.
You know? So right now we have come a long way. So right now is to uphold I and I what they call Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Uphold the rights for Sacramental, and more we're interested in equity, justice, reparatory justice, equity. We have to talk equity. If you ain't speaking equity, then it's a fireburn.
Hot.
Because they're talking economics when they come to her. So that's why Rastaman voice must be heard. A lot of Rasses here have mixed feeling about the works and the sacramental and the recreational laws being passed because the price of the herb has really dropped. But that's just one side of the scale, looking at the man that's producing and making an economy off of the herb. What about the consumer that was being consumed all the time and spending that high price?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I man feel it's justice time, yeah, you know?
Justice time.
Yeah.
And we're working, as I told you, on an ITAL certification standard that will benefit the community globally, you know, because we have to come to one standard as Rastafari family to distinguish our sacramental ganja, because right now we see they're putting a lot of chemicals into the marijuana and the cannabis. They're the way that they're dealing with the mixtures and things. Also, we can't necessarily trust what them are deal with. You know, they're unbalancing the THC and the CBD. You know what I mean? Yeah, want take that call there?
No, that's what's attitude calling in, trying to see what I say, I King. No, I'm there by the gates reasoning. You could come through if you're ice, you know. Just come to the gates, man. Okay. I remember there, yeah.
Big up Ras Attitude of our family.
No, another serious thing I want to touch on what's going on with this gathering, but there's some highlights because I was blessed, you know,
Yes, sir.
We youths born in the 70s, a lot of things is going to unfold. We're going to see the manifestation of a lot of things before everything sealed. We're going to see it. We are the generation
of them.
We get a taste of the old wine.
Yes.
Congo Watu, those ancients that come in and help establish this foundation. We sip of that wine.
Yes.
And now we are now becoming the elders, them treading up. I'm on treading on 52 now. We becoming that. There I see.
Yes,
so
sir.
From our youth, we have been grown with Ras Ivai under Bono G's. Now we see Ras Ivai, and we see like we're now the next generation there, and many changes that took place from Ras Bono G's time to this time. A lot of changes have taken places for the good.
Yes, sir.
A lot of things that was said have manifested.
Yes.
And the book of Daniel said, the beast wage war upon the saints of the Most High, as well as the Almighty and his saints. And he wearied out the saints of the Most High. But when I look again, I saw the Ancient of Days come unto the ancients and gave us strength that we could overcome the mark of the beast and his image, their lifestyle, and gain the victory. So, and I see His Majesty have come on to I and I when a lot of ones get weary.
Yes.
They're not treading this trod like they used to trod like before.
No.
The book of Timothy said in the last days you will find a lot of one in what they call a reprobated state of mind. Return
Yes.
to the former old ways that they had left behind. Things we used to do, we don't do no more. Things we used to say.
I say that we never chant the chosen many. I never hear that chant. You know, it's a chosen few. I and I are the chosen few. So give us some highlights. Because we're gonna wrap up. Give us some highlights of the event. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel because I'm gonna be there live. We're taking the Lion Voice to St. Croix. We're gonna be covering it. We'll be uploading from St. Croix exclusive interviews from some of the gatherings, you know, exclusive footage. I and I will be giving some presentations, things. So we're going to have a whole heap of content to really go in depth as to what's happening in St. Croix. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by November 1st. So spread the channel, spread the sound. We are building a Rastafari own platform so that we can tell our own story. This is the Armageddon. You see that there's war in the Middle East. You see that there's war in Russia and Ukraine. You see the whole world has erupted. These are all signs of the time that we were prophesizing. These are all signs of the time. So it's for I and I now to rise up and to really manifest the fullness. Who's that? That's Ras Attitude?
That's blessed.
Yes, family. We're getting ready to wrap up, but you can see one of the artists, one of the most talented artists I've ever seen in Iman life. If they are them don't know Ras Attitude, they them have to follow Boomdocs, films and production. The brethren do video production. The brethren do everything. The brethren sing any key where you want. Sing Ras Attitude, that you know. So big up yourself, Ras Attitude. Bless up the people. Them let them hear the eye.
Yeah, say a song for them, Attitude. Say a song for them.
Yeah, just bless up the family.
That's the first Empress, Menem, Asfa. Give thanks for life.
I just want, yes, I blessing. I just want to show the item how serious we are. This is Rasta Business sending us on royal salute from Martuishus Island, my lords and empress. So just to show you how the thing global, you know, and this thing will be seen by hundreds of people once it on the channel. So, you know what I mean, global platform that we're building here on the second largest search engine on the planet. So give us the highlights, Tafari, and then we're going to seal up. We've been almost 3 hours. This is a first for Lion Talk Live. Give us the highlights of the event, you know, of Wagwan.
Well, November 1st
yes,
is the opening of the Nyabinghi ISIS. That's a Wednesday. Opening meet and greet around 7. We'll go into the lighting of the ceremony, judgment fire ceremony around 9-ish, so that ones could get a taste in the early, as those that will be in the earlies could taste it said way to at sunrise we have a special reading of the coronation, the order of the coronation.
Okay.
That morning, later on that morning, we're expected to be on the Ras Isaiah talk show, morning show.
Okay.
That's WSTX 100.3. You could pick that up on the internet as well. So we'll be a guest on that morning show. Thursday, November 2nd, we'll rally in again for Nyabinghi ISIS. The Friday, in the morning, we'll be at the University of the Virgin Islands. The focus is keeping the Pan-African vision alive in the 24th century.
Yes, I'm working on my presentation now. As soon forward it to the eye, give thanks.
And I want to big up Dr. Chinzira Kahina Davis, the professor there. She also, several years in the past, was the director of the Caribbean Cultural Center. We have done great works with her on a university level in the past as well. Enough strength to the Rastafari and the Nyabinghi house. Give thanks, Dr. Chen. So we'll have her classes sitting in with us. We'll be in 2 sessions from 10 to 12 and 1 to 3. So I'm looking forward to that. The keynote speaker will be Ras Tafari. This will be his second time.
Legendary.
Yes, a great patriarch in the Pan-African movement with a long history. So we honor him, said way too. We'll do so when he comes in and show that love and respect. And like I said, this is his second time coming in with us. He came in during the COVID. That was around 2000, along with the Blue Fire Empresses.
Yes.
They came in with a couple sisters out at the Blue Fire. They came in and brought strength. Mama Waleti was one of them.
Yeah, she told I. Mighty.
Ooh, Mama Waleti, enough respect to the eye. The eyes don't just come with grace. The eye come with fire in a graceful manner. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I saw the eye stand up in the Nyabinghi house chanting that ISIS man. The eye didn't left the post at all. I stood there and chanted the ISIS straight through with I and I said, yes. Yes. I admire that, yeah, you know.
Yes,
and she comes with intellect too.
High
Not
intellect.
Just fire.
High intellect.
Too.
That's Dr. Walete, you know. Just true, she don't want flex on people. But it's Dr. Walete Beresford. Just so, you know, in case people think the thing is make believe. No, it's Doctor, you know. So mighty, we're looking forward to that tradition. So after the university, what's the full
we'll see after the university that Friday morning, we're going to take a relax.
Okay.
Relax. Catch yourself.
Necessary.
Yes, necessary. Now Friday evening, around 7 p.m., we're having a Rastafari Unity reasoning.
Okay.
We have the EABIC, the Ethiopian African Black International Congress members from St. Thomas and St. Croix. They will be sitting in with us. We have the Ethiopian World Federation local number 5, the Ras Makonnen local. They will have representatives with us. We're calling in members from the Yucca Redemption Movement to come and sit in with us too. We're calling the Reggae Fraternity, man like Ras Attitude, man like Ras Batch. Sister Desiree is not on the island. And other races to come on in. But I know man like Ras Attitude, man like Ras Batch, they are part of the house.
Yes.
They're not just Nyabinghi treading in with us, but they're also members of the VIRSCC.
Okay.
So, and why we want them to full take is because in order to move Rastafari movement forward, everyone have to come to the table and bring their strength. It's collective harmony and unity.
It's true. And we are coming with some things because, you know, we started the Association of Rastafari Creatives to mobilize the artists and have a trade association so we can put some economics, infrastructure for our creative industry. So we'll be bringing that news and, you know, the artists can sign up and become part of that. So we build along the way. So we're looking forward to that unity reasoning. And then Saturday, what's the fullness on Saturday?
Saturday now, what we're going to do is have a Rastafari Family Day.
Give thanks.
Which will be a cultural event in a Pan-African spirit. So we'll have Nyabinghi drummings, and that will be in General Bodho Park in Freedom City, in Akibeka part of town.
Okay.
So enough Akibeka ones are going to be there, you know. Enough roots man going to be there. Enough of the races going to come out from different crevices because as the eye can see the flyer for the cultural event, many artists,
Yes,
African
yes.
drumming and dancing, dub poets, revolutionary speakers. So it's going to be such a powerful day, starting from open ceremony from 5 and we run up till about 1. So we have the day.
Okay.
It's going to be sound system. So the artists, them will, everything will be moving, no band set up, everything will be on a flow. They have a youth activity center in the earlies for the youths them, that the youths them could be engaged and more time the youths are left out. Yeah, you know.
Yes, it's important.
So we can't do that. Let's have a youth activity center and build them as well. We're looking for youths to join the Dembaya drummers and dance group. They're looking to teach their knowledge of the skill of the drumming, the African West drumming. So these things we're looking to have some recruiting going on for young youths to join. So that will be what the Saturday looks like. A full day of cultural vibration. The Sunday now is a family day, which is called a beach day.
Yes.
Early morning for those who would like to hike and check out some serious places on the island that we may not have had a chance to do so, like Maroon Ridge, where the Maroons who ran away from the plantations and were living up in the hills in the mountains had raised children, generation. When the slaves then came up there, I mean, the slave masters finally discovered where they went and trying to bring them into captivity again. And our ancestors said, no, we prefer to jump over the ridge than to be anybody's slave again. So many of them took their own lives to fly to Zion and to deal with shackles and chains. Wow. So we have the history is very, very deep and revolutionary, you know. Yeah. So when I look at it, I see we're gonna have that hike and we could do some visits certain spots that I think is islandful for those who would like to. And the rest of the day would be a real family beach day. Ital cooking, music, jamming. If the DJ them used to come with tracks and nice it up on the beach again, we nice it up on the beach again. Volleyball, chess.
Hold on a second, because they requested the Chaz Match Kwasi to come light a fire upon the stage, you know. And
yes,
yeah. So I don't want to skip over that part there. And I'm coming ready, fully loaded with musical vibration. Big Up is my first international engagement. I'm going to be filming it. We're played here on the Lion Voice. So that's why I say if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Rasta Business from Martuisha said 20 views and only 10 likes. Push the like button for this live, because that's how you build the algorithm, you know. That's how you send out the content to more ones. So push the like button, subscribe to the channel. As you can see, we're bringing frontline workers in Rastafari and giving them a voice, because the time has come for the Lions to tell their story. This is only the beginning, family. I'm going to be traveling. You know, I bought land in Ghana. We're going to be recording my return to the continent. We're gonna, I haven't touched Jamaica yet since I've started this channel. So once I touch yard, say our problems. We have some big interviews scheduled. I have some big interviews I already recorded that I'm gonna get ready to drop. So like and subscribe. We have the Danny Dread interview coming, the teacher when it comes on to sound system business. I have DJ Cool Herc exclusive interview for people. Don't play with I, man. The contacts them heavy. I don't start calling on my artist brethren them yet, because I don't want this channel to be artist centric. I want them to see that Rastafari is more than just artists and music, although I have them people and they will be featured on this platform. But tonight we have a frontline warrior. Unfortunately, Tafari, we've gone 3 hours. That's how sweet the reasoning. Give us some final words, Sound, to seal up. Give thanks for coming on the platform. This is just the beginning. We're going to sit down with Tafari, Insane Cry, so you can get some beautiful background around it. And, we edit it nice and we put it up on the channel same way. So give the people them some final songs before we seal up.
Well, we give all praises to His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie first and foremost, and the balance of Empress Rosario Menenasfa, because the coronation taught us of the balance and the harmony of king and queen. And Rastafari is about family. I don't like what I see in the community, and universally a lot of single home Rastafari family, you know, sisterings with youths, no king man there. It's not Isla full at all.
Yes,
And
yes.
I made it my business to make sure I stand as family. Yes. When we look for perfection, we find it
Yes.
in His Majesty and Empress Menen. So we all are in the same boat, striving for that perfection. So we must learn to overstand, have tolerance, patience, and all of these things for growth to take place. So I've learned that, and in order for I and I to come and unite and move along to the next step of I and I journey in this judgment Iowa that we're living in, because His Majesty great command He gave to I and I ancients, man like Mortimer Plano, Brother Kumi, that they tried in 61 and the expedition tried for repatriation. His Majesty command to him when they said, we want to come home now, High Majesty. It was, I need to return to your people, organize, centralize, and then come as one.
Yes,
What
I.
I've been saying is the Zion gates is open, and ones are tried in one. The most ones that did repatriation have been Black America, not Rastafari, Black America.
No.
Those who have retired, not even young Black America, elders that have retired, fed up with America. America has lost her taste. There's nothing good of America. I visited Africa, and Africa is everything that you wanted.
Guys been to Africa?
Yes, King. Yes, sir.
Where? Where did I tried?
Ethiopia in 2009. Spent 3 months there.
Okay. Who did I tried with?
Haile Selassie for us, Memphis Kiddos.
Haile, the holy Irites. Give thanks.
Yes, guys. Me never used to. Me never had no work in the seat, so me had to be a ganja planter, a hustler, any way to make a money. And
okay. So that's for the next interview, because I don't want to extend it. We're gone past 3 hours, but give thanks, family. The life was so interesting. It was like a movie.
No, I tell you,
yes, sir.
The next time me come on, me have to give you not the highlights, but the many ancients the father have allowed I to sit up and rub shoulders with.
Okay.
One from Brother Kumi, from Bongo Watu, to the ancient Frankai that passed.
Yes.
The Croix Foundation. How I met Miguel Lon in Tortola when the law for the Rastafari ban was broken down, because it was started because of Miguel Lon.
Yeah, we have Ras Miguel Lon interview on the channel. Yes. We have Bongo Wisely interview on the channel. We have Ras Sekou interview on the channel. I sat with Bongo Wato, so I know what the eye is saying. We're gonna bring the eye forward. I want to give thanks. It was so mighty, King. We never got 3 hours yet, in our history. So the eye bust the seal. The eye storytelling. We had 20 people consistently for most of the reasoning, which is also a great thing for this channel. So you kept the people's attention. Big up yourself for everything with the eye doing as a frontline worker. Again, this is just the beginning. We're going to the brethren place. So the item will see the exclusive. We'll sit down, have some more reasoning with a beautiful background. And I know the item asks, why? We are doing this because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the lion voice. Haile
Selassie first for life.
Love and honor.
Yes, guy, prince and princesses must shout out of Babylon. You know attitude? Yes, I am.